This is a movement that is as strong as Lincoln. That's the last time we saw something like this. So why am I saying you should vote Bobby Kennedy Jr.?
I've seen so many more Republicans say, I don't care who you vote for. But there is some sort of virus on the left that seems to just feel like they cannot communicate with someone else.
You can't say, are you for school choice? Now you're fighting. You got to say, do you want better schools? Yeah, I do. Is the government doing a good job right now? No, it's not. Now we're having a conversation.
But how do we fix this?
If we don't fix this, there will eventually be violence. When people don't have a voice, they will resort to violence.
When the posture is how could we push humanity forward, not every idea is going to come from you.
So if there's any chance to stop it, it is Bobby Kennedy Jr. Be very clear. If you're going, but Larry Trump, but Larry Harris, you are a sucker. They are fooling you. That's why I'm telling you this is a realistic thing to happen. This could happen.
Whoa, that just blew my mind. The world changes.
Bingo, exactly, my friend. You asked me, you said, how do you fix this? There has to be hope. And this is, again, why you see the mainstream media crushing Bobby Kennedy to destroy the hope. When I was running in 2018, I started making impact at one point. That's when all of a sudden hippies came out.
It's the person who goes through the ceiling or the wall who always gets bloody. Maybe they're not there to walk afterwards, but the next person.
I'm a Marine. I will fight in the front line. I will breach a hole, but you got to run through it. I broke a hole in 2018, and 107 people ran through that hole. Bobby Kennedy Jr. can break this hole, and other people can run through it.
Wow. Larry Sharpe, how are you?
I am here, brother. I have made it in the flesh. Happy. And I wore my cool pink shirt just for you. Look at that.
I love it. I actually just bought this shirt today just because I was just really I was just really unhappy with, some of my current outfits. Some people think it's getting a little stale. So I just wanted to do something new. I always think if
My dress
you
is
look good, you feel
insanely
good.
boring. I'm very boring. I wear two types of things. I wear some kind of collared shirt and a jacket. Never wear a tie. I haven't worn a tie in 11 years. Do not wear a tie anymore. I stopped in 2013 when it was really hot in New York City, and I never did it again. So I'm done with that. So I wear some kind of collared shirt and a jacket, or I wear a Larry Sharpe t-shirt and a jacket or Larry Sharpe t-shirt. That's it. That's all I wear. I have tons from when I ran for office twice. I have like 20 Larry Sharpe t-shirts. That's all I ever wear. That's it.
You know what? That's a funny conversation because just recently I had some because I've started a couple of businesses throughout the years, and the first business I ever started was pretty much this car enthusiast company, and it was called Super Subi Bros, right? I started this whenever I was 17, right? And the reason I'm bringing it up is because just recently my sister ended up uncovering like tens of t-shirts that we made like in production that never got sold because I had sold the company. And now
There we go.
recently I went ahead and I was at a baby shower for one of my friends who's having a baby, and I love that so much. And I brought a bunch of those t-shirts. I'm like, you guys awesome. This company
I
doesn't
literally,
exist anymore, but they're good. They're good shirts.
I'm
I
not
love it.
running for governor right now, and I still have my Larry Sharpe for governor mug. I'm with you. I don't stop. I agree.
Hey, now that's a good question. Would you ever run again?
Yeah, 2026, I will consider it. It's every 4 years,
Hey,
right?
there
So
we go.
I ran in 2018, got ballot access for the first time ever. We ran a crazy good campaign. We ran the best libertarian non-presidential campaign ever. It was amazing. We raised over $500,000. We got on all the big shows. We got on Rogan, and we got on Glenn Beck. We got on Dave Rubin. We got all the cool shows. People paid attention to us. We got in debate stage, not with the governor side, but with the other guys. Republican was on a debate stage then. We got that too. And we got cheated, but we still got 2% of the vote, which is all that matters, which is all we
Wow.
needed. We need 100,000 votes to get on the ballot. We did. We had ballot access, which means the Libertarian Party became a real party in New York State for the first time
Wow.
ever. It never happened before in the history of the Libertarian Party. The next year, I crossed the state again. I've crossed New York State 6 times. Every year I cross the state, I go to every single county. I call it a full Sharpe. I've
Okay.
done 6 times so far. I'll do it again this year. It'll be 7. And literally, I crossed the state again, and we had 107 local victories. People talk about local victories. I had 107 of them. Literally, we had
Wow.
107 libertarians elected in 2019. Then New York State destroyed the party with a sweep of a pen in our ballot line. And they lied and said, we did it because we wanted to get rid of the Working Families Party. That's a lie. The Working Families Party still is around, still exists, was not destroyed, supported Cuomo when he was governor, supports Kathy Hochul now that she's governor, supports Democratic Party, has never changed. What they did was destroy the Libertarian Party. That party was destroyed because we had 107 and then we had 0. We went from 15 county affiliates to 30, then we went to almost 0, and they destroyed the party. And then in 2022, I tried again to get back on the ballot. I did. And this time, the Republicans sued me off the ballot. They sued me off the
Wow.
ballot and crushed the party. The Libertarian Party no longer exists in New York State. And as far as it looks like now, it will never exist ever again. New York State is a one-party state empire, and nobody seems to care. I know that sounds horrible, but it is still true.
Sure. Do you think that also exists in places like California?
Not as bad, but yes. And the problem, the reason why I stay in New York and fight so much is some people say, Larry, why do you care about New York?
Mhm.
Because whatever happens in New York, it's coming to you, my friend. It might
I
take
think
some
so.
time, but it's coming to you. We're the
100%.
test ground for all the bad stuff. That's us. Once it happens here, oh, it happened here. And
I
worse,
completely agree.
then we move to you and we bring our stuff to you. If you want New Yorkers to stay in New York, make New York better and we'll stay.
Mhm.
Otherwise,
Sure.
we're coming to you.
Yeah. I completely agree. I remember whenever COVID was just starting to happen, you were just starting to hear it across the world, right? It was just happening in, in China, Singapore, all these other places, Europe. And then I'm like, okay, well, as of right now, not so much of a threat. We're kind of okay. And then it got to New York. And I'm like, oh
And New
man,
York locked everything down. New
that's what's gonna
York
happen.
was New York literally locked down churches, gyms. In New York, I'm not joking, we poured sand into skate parks so kids couldn't skate.
Mm,
That is how what an authoritarian, horrible place this state has become. So, yes, and you think it could never happen to us. Go back 40 years. And what do you think about New York? We're tough guys. We're tough guys back then. I'm walking here, right? That's New York. We're tough guys. I'm walking here. We don't care about no stinking cops. We don't care about that. Now, those days are over. We are
wow.
now the sheep of the sheep. We are the most sheepest. Oh, this is a true story. During the lockdowns, at 7 p.m. every night, New York residents would come out of their windows and clap for all the people who were locking us down. We literally clapped
Wow.
for our jailers. That is next level Stockholm syndrome. That's New York City. So we are now the worst of the worst. In my city, it's 6-1 Democrat to Republican. And not that Republicans are better, but the
Sure.
fact that it's one party is what destroys it. There is
It's
no
dangerous.
chance of anyone else winning. And I'll go one step further. I have no democracy. What I mean by that, at my city level, my state level, and my federal level, all three people are Democrats, have been Democrats for years, so much that the Republicans haven't run a candidate at the state level in 10 years. They didn't run a
Wow.
candidate. They don't bother running a candidate because there's no chance of victory whatsoever, which means the elections actually decided in the primary. Well, we don't have open primaries. So if you run a member Democratic Party, you have no say in your government. None. Not at local, not at state, not at federal. I just have to hope I get a good king or queen. I have to hope for a good
Yeah.
monarch because I have no power in my own governing whatsoever. And let me repeat this, nobody cares. They're totally happy with it. And I'll go one step
Wow.
further. I'm not even done. I'm beating up my state so badly, you're going to be shocked. I'm going to go even further. In my state, a Republican has not won any statewide election, not senator, not governor, not attorney general, in 22 years. Nothing.
22 years.
Not one thing, not one statewide. I mean, locally Republicans do win,
Sure,
but
sure, sure.
statewide, not one in 22 years. That is how bad it is. And again, nobody cares. Republicans don't care. Like
Mhm.
no, they're happy grifting. They have accepted their second level in my state, and the New York State Republican Party is happy getting the crumbs. Hey, we'll take the crumbs. We'll lie every 4 years and say we're gonna win this year. They're not gonna. They keep saying it. Now the new one is New York's in play for Trump. Utter lie, complete garbage, never going to happen in a million years. Our state is 3-1 Democrat to Republican,
Mhm.
and any Republican who would vote against Harris is leaving. We lose 300,000 people per year. That is larger than most cities in America. We lose a
Yeah,
city every year. And those people wouldn't be voting, for Harris. They would be voting
sure.
for someone other than that, and they're gone. So this is a fantasy, but they'll
Yeah.
lie and grift, and Republicans will give money away again, and they'll lie.
How do
I'm
you
a ray
fix
of
that?
sunshine, my friend. I am a ray of sunshine. You are welcome.
Totally fine. You're keeping it real, right? And I
I'm
love it.
trying to.
But how do we fix this? Right? Like, how does that problem
Yeah.
become fixed? Because I
Yep.
know you're a systems guy, right? I think you're really practical and like practically how does this get fixed? I'm wondering if things like this happen from the top down or from the bottom up, right?
Well,
Because
the
either
problem is they would have been happening from the bottom up, but the system is so rigged that it can't happen. In theory, democratically, that's true. But
Mhm.
what happens, you have to hit the top first so you can make the bottom happen. And as I
That's what I was
mentioned in
thinking.
2018, the reason why I ran for governor and kept going, I knew I wasn't going to win. Obviously, I hoped I was going to win. I hoped for a miracle, obviously.
Sure,
But
sure,
I knew
sure.
if I won, then I could motivate the bottom to come up, which is what I
Mhm.
was doing, right? So you
100%.
require the thing to remember, the top of the ticket has the most chance for press, but the
Mhm.
bottom of the ticket has the most chance for victory. So you want to get the top of the ticket out there so they can get press, get people to think about it, get people to care, so they can then vote for the bottom of the ticket and you can make bottom up change. So you need
Why is
both
that?
because people don't believe anyone can win and they just want to vote for a winner. And while that makes no sense, it is 100% true. So
Sure.
people go, well, I can't vote for you, Larry. You can't win. Well, guess what? If you idiot would vote for me, I would win. That's how it works. But you don't do that because I gotta, or the worst, I'm scared. I gotta vote because the other guy might win. Let me be clear for everyone listening and watching who's like, Larry, I don't care what you think. Trump is gonna destroy the world, or you can't do it. Harris is gonna destroy the world. Okay, here's something to understand and put in your head. Bush got us Obama. Obama got us Trump. Trump got us Biden. Who's winning? It ain't you, it's them. They are bouncing back and forth, laughing
Yeah.
at you the whole way, and they tell you every year, this is the most important election ever. If Obama wins, the world's gonna end. If Trump wins, the world's gonna end. The world never ends, does it? We
Yeah.
just have 25 years of straight decay, regardless of whoever's in charge. Next thing they'll say, but we gotta fix the border, or we gotta whatever, fix abortion, whatever is the story they tell you. Think about
Yeah.
this. During the past 25 years, the Democrats have owned the presidency, the House, the Senate, and the Supreme Court all at the same time. Where was your Medicare for all? Nowhere. Where was your improved Obamacare? Nowhere. Where was your codification of Roe v. Wade to save abortion? Nowhere. They don't care. They want to keep us so they keep fighting. Now you will say, Larry, I'm a Republican. Awesome. Republicans have owned the presidency, the
Yeah.
Congress, the Senate, and the Supreme Court at the same time, past 100 years. Where is your border repair? Where is your balanced budget amendment? Nowhere. They're never going to fix anything. You're a sucker if you believe that. Let me be very clear. If you're going, but Larry Trump, but Larry Harris, you are a sucker. They are fooling you. They don't care about you. Now, one exception. If you are doing well in your life very well right now, if
Yeah.
things are good for you and you like the status quo, you're not a sucker. You are smart to vote for either one of them because nothing's going to change. So if you're happy with the way things are going and life's good for you and you got your villa someplace and you're ready to pack up and head over to Andorra when the world collapses, life is good. Keep
Sure.
voting Republican, Democrat, you will be fine. Smart move. But if you're sitting going, things got to change and you vote for one of them, you're a sucker.
Yeah. That's interesting. One of the things that RFK Jr. says a lot is if you want more of the same, vote for either of those two, right?
You will
And
get that. Lots of it.
if you want something differently, vote for me.
Well, to be clear,
So
if you lean right, you'll get a
mhm,
little bit less pain for 4 years if Trump wins. You're still gonna get pain, but
sure.
4 years later, you're gonna get whatever, President AOC or whatever, right? So if you lean left and you vote for Harris, okay, great, you'll get a little bit less pain, but you're gonna get freaking President Ted Cruz in 4 years. Who
Sure.
cares, right? You're just delaying your pain a little bit. That's it.
Mhm.
Or to your point, you brought up the right person. You vote Bobby Kennedy Jr. and you make actual change. That's the issue.
Mm.
You vote him, you make actual change. and I know the response already, but Larry, he can't win. Okay, number one, if you vote for him, he can win. That's how the
Yeah.
system works right now. So you could do that. But more
Mhm.
importantly, if he just gets 5%, nothing else, 5%, that's all he
Sure.
gets. Just that. And he's already polling as high as 19. That's his highest, right? So if he just gets 5%, that means in theory, he actually qualifies for matching funds for the presidential election in 2028. Why does that
Really?
matter? Yes, that's how that works. So if he
Mm.
does, two things happen. Number one, if he chooses to run again, he could petition for those funds, which means he has tons of cash coming in right away, which means he'll have talent coming in so that he can have an
Mhm.
actual massive kick-ass campaign for the next 4 years. Up until that day, life is good. But more importantly, if he says, I'm not going to run, I'm done, I've done my bit, I'm out. Okay. You know how many people will be motivated to jump on board when he breaks
Mhm.
that 5%? You talked about local. He motivates now the local guy to run for mayor, the local gal to run for city council, the local person to run for your county executive or your city board or whatever is the thing you
Yeah.
want to run. He motivates them all because now when people say you can't make impact, yeah, he just did. He got 5% of the vote is like 9 million votes.
Yeah.
If he pulls like 9 or 10 million votes, oh my God, whatever that'd be a lot of votes if he pulls it, right? It'd be
Mhm.
amazing. But I go one step further. What if he just wins one state? Just one. And then what am I bringing up now as an example is say Utah. Brings up Utah.
Sure.
Utah is 4-1, Republican and Democrat. So bad the last Senate race, the Democrats didn't bother running a candidate for senator. They didn't bother
Wow.
running because they knew that's how, like I tell you how bad New York is, Utah's the opposite, just Republicans, right? Why bother running? There's zero chance of victory. We're not going to run at
Sure.
all. An independent ran because Democrats said, we give up. We can't win this thing.
Okay.
No, it's a waste of time and money. No one's going to give us money. We're done. So, but they don't like Trump. Republicans in Utah, that's why they have Mitt Romney as their senator. They don't like Trump. So what if just 36% of Utah people vote for Bobby Kennedy? Well, he wins three-way race. Three-way race, 36% wins. Over 40% voted for Evan McMullin, the independent, last time. That's precedent for it already. It's sitting in Utah waiting. He takes Utah, you get a purple piece on that map. That map that's
That'd
red
be
and blue.
crazy.
That, yes, you're right. It's
That'd be
crazy. You
crazy.
have a purple splotch. They show that map thousands of times for the next
Mm.
4 years at MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, gonna show that thing. People gonna say, what the hell is that purple blotch? Oh, that's Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, we could win? Yes, third parties are real, independent parties are real. Whether you like the Greens, Libertarians, Independents, you like the Constitution Party, I don't care what party you like, that just validated your party.
The
Now we
world
have
changes.
more change. Bingo, exactly, my
Mhm.
friend. But I'll go one step further than that. I always go one step further, brother. That's what I do.
I love
I'll
it.
go one step further. What if he wins just 4 or 5 states? He wins Utah, Alaska, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan. I made that up, right?
Sure.
He wins 5, New Hampshire, whatever. He wins 4 or 5 states. He wins 4 or 5 states. All of a sudden now, Harris and Trump don't get 270.
How they
They don't
yeah.
get 270. 12th Amendment kicks in. It
Mhm.
goes to Congress. When it goes to the Congress, we don't know this, it's selected by the new Congress. So
Exactly.
it gets in January. Well, in between that time, someone's got to get 26 states. Each state gets one vote. So Wyoming is as powerful as California. Rhode Island is as
Mhm.
powerful as Texas. They're all the
I love
same.
it.
They're all powerful. Harris will never have 26 states in a million years. It's not going to happen. Trump might. If he has 26 states, then he'd be the president. That would happen. But even if he did, Bobby Kennedy throwing it into the Congress, again, changes the world. There is a real
100%.
third party at that point. But let's say neither of them has 26 states. So now you got to start jockeying. Who's the only
Mhm.
one who can create a compromise candidate? Only Bobby Kennedy can. He's out take 3 Republicans in this cabinet, 2 Democrats in that cabinet, 1 Democrat here, 1 Republican there. He does wheeling
Mhm.
and dealing. He creates an actual team of rivals like Lincoln did. By the time January comes around, he is the compromise candidate. And that, by the way, is how
Yep.
Thomas Jefferson won that way. And so did John Quincy Adams.
Mhm.
I just gave you a pathway to victory that no one else has heard unless you've talked about this, and you haven't
Yeah.
heard it since. I'm not joking. There has been no pathway to success for a third party since Lincoln. This is a movement that is as strong as Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's the last time we saw something like this since Lincoln. That's a key piece that I'm going to bring up. So why am I saying you should vote Bobby Kennedy Jr.? This is why. If he actually wins this thing and becomes president, literally the entire country changes overnight. You asked me,
Yeah.
you said, how do you fix this? You fix it with third party. The two-party system cannot do. That's the reason why we're here. The
Hmm.
reason why you can't get anything done is two-party system. You might not know this. In about 12 states across the country, you literally cannot write in a candidate. It is against the law. They will ignore your write-in. In
Wow.
over 20 states, they have to authorize your write-in. They allow you who to vote for. How's that constitutional? It's not.
Wow.
And again, nobody cares. Why? Because the parties run everything. A federal judge said when Bernie Sanders sued the Democrats, he said, this is unfair. Federal judge said the Democratic Party and Republican Party are two private organizations. They have no obligation for fair elections. None. And in reality, that's law. Now,
Wow.
in theory, I agree with that. In theory, that's true. But here's the problem. They run our election system.
Hmm.
Not just that, we taxpayers pay for their primaries. So we pay for their I pay for a primary in New York State that I cannot vote in. I pay for every primary with my taxes, and I
Hmm.
can't vote in them. And they're like, well, private entities. If they pay for their own primaries, yes. If they don't control the ballot, which they do, yes. If they don't control the Senate, you know that if you have a congressman or senator right now, and you vote for them and say, hey, I have a bill I want you to put up, he or she cannot. The parties decide, the party leadership decides what bills go up. Let me say it again. Nancy Pelosi and her leaders, or whoever is in charge of this or that, whoever's in charge, they decide what bills go up, not the person you voted for. Why? Political parties. Political parties are the reason we are screwed. If
Yeah.
you don't
Wow.
break that, there is no chance, and you are going to see this country fall into violence eventually. I don't know when that's going to happen, but you will see it fall into violence. That's the problem. I'm sorry, you got me going, but so I
Sure.
started yapping away. I'll stop. Go ahead and talk. I apologize.
No, no, I love it. We love talking about Kennedy here, and I do think this is a historic election, right? And honestly, so many people we actually talk a lot about kind of political strategy here, so I'd kind of
Yep.
love to pick your brain, right? Like what do you think is Kennedy's biggest problem in this election? Right? That's
It's
almost actually fixable.
fixable problem?
Yes, that he can actually has the capacity to do right now. Right? Because I know kind of the easy ones like, oh, he has to get on CNN, right? They gotta get on mainstream media, right? But they're not letting him. Those are all controlled. But what could he do right now that he potentially isn't doing that could actually help
Yeah.
almost slingshot him into
As
victory?
you
Okay.
know, the system is completely against him. Obviously, we're aware of that, right?
Yeah.
They're literally trying to stop him from doing everything, right? And it's against the law. There's lawsuits, and again, nobody cares.
I'd actually love to ask a
My
question on that in the future too. Like,
Yep,
how do we almost fix the media as well? Like, is that ever possible? Is there,
yep,
because I know right now with these videos and kind of YouTube and X and TikTok, I believe this is almost like democratizing media. And I don't know if
yep,
CNN is gonna live in 100 years, right? So I do think we're
yeah.
seeing part of that
All
change
right.
happen
So let me
today.
cover
But
both of those.
yeah.
First one I'm going to cover is the thing he can do. And I think my view is he has to travel,
Mhm.
and he doesn't,
Sure.
right? And I get why, because he's got security issues. But Obama did it. Remember what Obama did when he was running in 2008? He went to
Sure.
Germany and he spoke in front of a crowd in Germany, and he looked presidential. And everyone said, what? Oh my God, look how presidential this guy is. We can have a black president. I can't believe it. People saw him as a
Yeah.
black president, and they accepted it as true. It's like watching the black president on TV. Oh, wow. Or woman president on TV. Wow. Okay, we can have that. We got to see it
Yeah.
and feel it. And
We
Obama
just
went
saw
and
it.
did it. Yes, we just saw it.
Yeah.
Kennedy needs to go overseas, go travel somewhere, talk to some people, shake some hands, get
Wow.
out there in front of a crowd, say some things, be presidential, and have America see him as a president. Right now, they still see him as a freedom fighter. They still see him as an environmentalist. They still see him as an activist. This is Jill Stein's biggest problem. Jill Stein, in everyone's mind, is still an activist. She's not presidential in people's minds. It's one of the reasons why she's
That's
struggling.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
I know Jill Stein. I like her. I'm just being forward. She's still an activist, right? They have to see you as that. He should travel. You ask the question of what he can fix. That's what he should do.
Mhm.
I work for the PAC, so I can't coordinate.
Mhm.
But you asked the question and I said it. Let's hope
Yeah.
some of his people are listening and they copy because he should travel.
Yeah,
I said it publicly.
100%.
So now it's not coordination. You asked me a question, I answered it. I put out in the ether. Hopefully, somebody will going, that Larry Sharpe said some stuff. We should copy what he says. I hope they copy. But
Hey.
no, I'm not. That's you asked the question, I answered it. That's what he should do.
No. Yeah,
So
100%.
next piece, you asked, what about CNN and such? Here's the issue
Yeah.
with CNN and all those. They have tried to repair themselves, and it's failed. CNN tried that CNN Plus, garbage. Fox tried Fox Nation. Fox Nation is working better than CNN Plus, but still not great. MSNBC has Peacock. Peacock is working better than Fox Nation, but they're not great. So they're trying to make money other ways. The only reason why CNN exists is because they have HBO, right? There other
Mm,
of the umbrella. The other parts of the umbrella are all making money to save CNN. CNN is losing money. It's a
wow.
disaster. They get maybe 500,000 people to watch their show. Rogan gets 12 times their viewership easily, if not 20 times their viewership easily. And it's not even close. But the thing
Sure.
that they do have is in our broken economy, and our economy is really broken, who has all the money? The boomers. Who votes? The
The
boomers.
boomers.
Who watches CNN and Fox? The boomers. So they have the perfect audience is the issue. That's their issue. They have the
Yeah.
perfect audience.
You
So
know,
if
I
you
actually
want
have
to
a
start
strong
selling
boomer base here.
drugs, I'm sorry, say again?
I actually have a really strong boomer base here. It's so funny, right? Whenever you look at my channel demographics, you'll see it kind of go from the top down, right? The people who are older take up the majority of it. Not by a lot, right? But probably like
I love
22,
it. Good for
and then
you.
people my age are like 21%, right? And but definitely in the beginning, I believe the highest it's ever been is like 45%. Right at like the 65 plus, and then
Look
below
at
that
that.
was probably like 20%, like 45, 55, and it was just really shocking to see. But that just tells me that even people that age have a deep mistrust in the system,
Yes,
right? And they just don't feel
absolutely.
represented. Did you actually see that
So
clip today with I believe it's Jimmy Fallon? Right,
I
and
don't think so.
some person from CNN, she was asked they were asking, "Oh, so I know CNN is a very, like, kind of, like, unbiased place where people go to get their news," and the crowd just starts laughing,
Yes.
and then the anchor was like, "Was that supposed to be funny?" And he's like, "No, but I guess it was."
Well, the
But that
prop,
just tells me the general public.
this is why I actually like MSNBC and Fox better than CNN. And the reason why is Fox says we're right. We're righties. Who we are.
Yeah,
MSNBC, we're lefties. It's who we are. CNN pretends to not be. And that
yeah.
smugness makes me want to vomit. Like I hate the CNN people because they're so smug. They think they're so better. They think remember Don Lemon when he was on?
Yeah,
Don Lemon goes on thinking he's so super cool, goes off, fails miserably because he sucks. The difference is he was on CNN. He was only popular because
it was
CNN
an
had
echo
the
chamber.
airport. Yes, no, CNN had the airport contract, which they lost. So people saw him a lot in the airport, and they saw him, but they thought he was important. He's not important. He's a terrible anchor. He's bad at what he does. He's terrible. So he goes on his own, fails. Then he gets a deal with Elon Musk, and then thinks he's hotter than Elon Musk somehow. Didn't you know you'd have to answer questions? Elon's like, I don't have to answer nothing. I gave you a job. What's wrong with you? I'll fire
Yeah,
you in 5 seconds. And he did.
he did.
And now what's Don Lemon doing now? I'm going to sue you. That's Don Lemon now.
Oh,
So
man.
now he resorts to lawfare. What a horrible human being. He's a terrible guy who's an embarrassment who thought he was great because on the right. If I was
That's
on, like,
interesting.
if all of a sudden Joe Rogan made me his sidekick,
Mhm.
I would be awesome, but not because I'm awesome, because I'm
Exactly.
Joe Rogan's sidekick. That would be the reason why I'd be awesome, not because I'm awesome. And I
Yeah.
would recognize that, recognize I better not screw up with Joe Rogan, because if I leave, I'm regular Larry again. Don Lemon thought, I'm awesome. No, he was important because CNN. Once he left, he's regular old Don Lemon again, who's a nobody.
Mhm.
So he didn't get that. So his hubris is what destroyed him. And most CNN anchors have the same problems, which is why they can't go anyplace else. Because once you lose CNN, people say, well, I want someone who's talented. And they go, well, I'm talented. No. You're prepared to sell your soul out and you can read. That's not
Sure.
talented. That means you have
Yeah,
two criteria: sell your soul, read from a teleprompter. Those aren't great skill sets. A lot of people can do
that's
that.
crazy. That's one. Oh, yeah, 100% crazy. Yeah, I think about that a lot too. Like just as the Don Lemon example, like it's a curse to think that you're great just because you're surrounded by greatness. It's almost like the burden of
Correct.
leadership, right? Like it'd be so inconsistent to think that has almost anything to do with you, right? But
Yes,
you're
exactly.
almost you're elevated. And the same thing with like NBA, right? If you're on a team with like LeBron James, right? It'll probably be really easy to think, "Oh man, I'm so good. Look at all these games that we won."
Yes.
Right? And then
Look
you
at
go
all
to
these
another team.
rings. I'm awesome. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you're starting to take ownership. You're adopting someone else's greatness as your own, which again, the problem becomes whenever you think it's yours and then you leave and you try to replicate it and it just doesn't work, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, Don
Humility
Lemon's
is
a
a
great
very
example.
important thing, without question. Humility does matter. I try to be humble. I do. I just get angry so much that I sound like I'm not being humble because I just get so upset all the time. But I try to be humble because I have had my ass kicked more than once. So getting an ass whipping does make you kind of realize, oh, so fate will smack you whenever it decides, no matter how smart you think you are. Yes, when fate wants to smack you, you get smacked. It doesn't matter how smart you think you are, it doesn't matter how strong you
Yeah.
think you are. When fate wants to smack you, it will smack you. Doesn't matter who you are. And learning those lessons does make me a bit more humble than I've been. So I try to stay humble to the best of my ability. It doesn't always work, but I do try. That's what I'll say. I do
Yeah.
try.
No,
But
I
to
I
answer
I
your
agree with
question,
that.
I think that CNN is probably eventually going to have to go away. My gut says CNN will become a documentary company. They will create
Huh.
content because CNN does well with content, like its little shows, like, the story of Princess Diana or whatever. People actually watch those. In fact, those actually have better ratings than their news. So they'll whatever the '90s. It's all about Bill Clinton or something. Those types of documentaries people actually like and watch, and they can sell them to other content providers, right? You can sell it to
Yeah,
Netflix, you can sell it to Peacock, whatever. So my gut says them will eventually become that in some way. That's just my gut because they're good at it. I think MSNBC and Fox will go out of their way to simply try to adjust with the times. They'll just stay left and right, and as the
sure.
new people come in, they'll just filter them in, and they have
Mm,
other ways of doing it. What MSNBC and Fox do great is they create content for other places.
sure.
If you notice, they don't get HBO gets mad if you put their content on YouTube. They get pissed off and
Yeah.
they copyright you in 5 seconds. By the way, shame on HBO for that bullshit. Terrible, but they do it.
Yeah. All
Um,
the time. I'm a victim over here.
yeah, all the time. But not Fox, not CNN. They don't care.
Never.
That's why they're
These guys
doing
are
it.
cool.
No, that's their business model. Their business model is I'm valid because other people use me. That's their
Hmm.
business model. That is why
Wow.
Fox and MSN will stay around. That's why they're valid. That's why AP exists. AP exists not because AP is good, because nobody else will report anything. Everybody wants to be a reaction channel. Nobody wants to be a
Mhm.
reporter. AP's the
Sure.
only reporters. So someone's got to react, do the work that someone reacts to. Someone's got to have
Yeah.
original content. That's AP, that's Fox News, that's MSNBC. They're the people who create the
Mhm.
content that you and I laugh at.
Sure.
Someone's got to do it.
Wow.
That's what they are.
Do you think something like that could exist from a more moderate perspective, from a more unbiased perspective?
I think you do have, yes, and I think you do it by creating the people who are doing it best right now. I
Mhm.
think are probably Breaking Points right now. They're probably
Mhm.
the best at it right now. Don't know if you know Breaking
Yeah.
Points, the show.
I
They're
love
probably
them.
the
They're
best
great.
right now. And the reason why they do it is they aren't trying to be middle. They're left and right together,
That's
right?
fascinating. I never thought of it like that before.
Yes, they're not actually middle, right? If you look at it, Saga's a Republican, right?
Mhm.
But he's a I hate the Bushes Republican, right? He's that. He's
Sure.
that kind of Republican. So he's a right leaning conservative. Look, he wears the tie, the whole deal. Right? He's a conservative, right?
Yeah.
The opposite with Crystal. Crystal's obviously she's much more progressive. Thinks that Jill Stein's the answer, stuff like that. Bernie Bro type. She's like that. So I think that's the issue. When you can have those two types talk it out, people enjoy that actually. People like a back and forth without name calling. Now, don't get me
Mhm.
wrong. Is there some fun to name calling? There is some, but nothing's ever solved, right? So
It's
there
not
is
very
some
productive.
value. Correct. There is some value
Yeah.
for entertainment to blood sport. There is some, right? But the conversation is much better. If you want a news program, you'd rather have those two pop up and talk about it and have real conversation. I think that's the model. And look, They're the best now, and no shade on them, but there will be something better eventually because that's just how the market works.
Sure.
Somebody will figure out a better model than them. I think right now they're leading the market, but I think the market will find whatever is the next answer. I'm not sure what that answer is, but I think they will find that answer, and I think that will be the next piece. Because what people are often doing now is they're still falling into their own fractured media to where I like these people, so I only watch these people, right?
Mhm.
But I think when
Yeah.
you have a mix of left and right or that kind of thing, it's better. I used to have a show on my channel. I had someone who was a hardcore conservative, hardcore progressive, and then I was libertarian in the middle. And
Perfect.
people loved it. It was good, but it's hard to get hardcore left and right on the same show without them wanting to kill each other.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
problem. Finding those two people who will do it. And what happens is sometimes because they're so diametrically opposed, they actually don't like each other sometimes.
Mhm.
And that can be challenging. So finding two people who disagree but can still have a conversation, that's the key aspect. Finding that, and that can be very challenging.
Do you ever think there's gonna be, like, let's say Breaking Points, for example, but Breaking Points is still, like, very grassroots, like, it was just a YouTube
Yeah.
channel, right?
Yep.
I don't know if they started out with a crazy amount of money or if it was just self-funded, right? But obviously, could
It
it
was
ever
self-funded, I can tell
compete?
you.
Yeah. Could it ever compete with something as large as these main media organizations? I would say that I feel like they're already competing in
It
terms of
already is.
impact.
They already
You think
are.
so?
Already are. It's they already are. 100%. They already are. Think about it. The entire reason why there is hit piece after hit piece after hit piece after hit piece on RFK Jr. on all the
Mhm.
stations is only one reason. Because he's making it here. That's
Sure.
why. Otherwise, why would they even talk about him? Right? The
Yeah.
best way to destroy somebody is to ignore them. Well,
Mhm.
if he wasn't making it here, they wouldn't be talking about him at all. Find me a hit piece on Jill Stein.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I was gonna bring that up because I think
Find me a hit piece on Cornell West. You can't find one on mainstream media. I mean, not
yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah, no,
find
no,
those
no.
hit pieces here, but on main you
Yeah.
can't find it. Why? Because ignore them. Who cares? They're not making it. They're not doing it. They're not making impact. And again, I know Cornell West. I've been on stage with him more than once. I love the man. He's a great speaker. He's a good guy. I know him. I'm not no
Mhm.
shade on him. I'm just being forward. Right? They don't care about him. In fact, if you notice, before he was running for president, Cornell West would go on TV all the time. They have him on Fox.
Wow.
He's Sean Hannity's friend. You run for president, then don't even nowhere. Because that's the answer. The fact that there are hit pieces means he's having impact. When I
That's
ran in 2018, when I finally started getting hit pieces on me in the media in New York, I was like, yes. I literally
yeah,
took the hit pieces and I put them on my social media.
there we go.
I'm not joking. I was like, see, I'm real. They're calling me names. I'm real.
Mhm.
So
No,
yes.
I was just thinking about that because I got, like, pretty mean comments probably the other maybe, like, a week ago. Someone was calling me, like, an anti-vaxxer because I, like,
Yep.
support RFK, or they're like, "This guy doesn't love kids," or something
Yep.
like that. "This guy wants to see kids die," something like that.
So let me respond to that real fast if I could.
Go for it.
Let's assume, I mean, it's not true, but let's assume that he's an anti vaxxer. Okay.
Sure.
Let's assume it's true. It's true. Okay. It's true. Got it. All right. So what? So what? So he becomes president. Is he going to, with his magic scepter, ban all jabs? Is that going to happen? No. He's
No.
going to say, I don't like them. That's what he's going to say. They're
Yeah.
not going to go away. You can still get them. There's no change. But what if either Harris or Trump are president? We're still going to be bombing 8 countries, and your kids are going to go off to war and die for some other country. And they're going to come back with missing arms and legs and have TBI and PTSD, and the debt's going to keep going up, and we're going to have inflation, and no one's going to give a damn. That will
Yeah.
happen if Harris or Trump is in office. But if Bobby's in office, there'll be some guy who goes, I don't like jabs. So your kids won't be losing their legs in some foreign country. We won't have a $37 trillion debt. Maybe your kid can move out of his house, out of your house, and buy his own or rent his own
Yeah.
apartment. Maybe there'll be jobs. How about that? We're about vax stuff. That is insanely stupid. And if you believe that, let me say it again, you are a sucker. You have been suckered into thinking that matters. This is what's called a one-word story. And the one-word
Yeah.
story is I say the one word about someone and now he's dismissed.
Mhm.
So now don't listen to him. What particularly Democrats, Republicans too, but in this case more Democrats, because to Democrats, Bobby Kennedy's a traitor and he must be destroyed. He's part of the
Sure.
Rebel Alliance and a traitor. So he has to be removed from the system. So they come after him hard. But let's say he is a kook or whatever the thing you say. He's the thing. So now his policies don't matter. So now your
Exactly.
child's life doesn't matter. So now your retirement doesn't matter when Social Security goes broke in 10 years. Now that doesn't matter anymore all of a sudden. How about realizing how he'll affect your life versus whether you like him or not? How about that?
Yeah.
Understand that when they use the one word story, they are trying to get you to not listen. They are trying to get you to ignore him. You are falling for it again. You are a
That's right.
sucker. Please stop being a sucker and listen to what he says. If you listen to his policy and go, I don't like those, I like Harris or Trump's better, makes total sense, vote for them.
Mhm.
But if you go, I can't talk to him, he's a this, whatever word they use, it's another word, you're a
Just fill in the
sucker.
blank. Yeah.
You're a sucker.
You know what? I'd love to get that on a hat. You need I think you gotta make merch that says "You're a sucker." We
Yes.
just go ahead and discuss
Yep.
all of these topics and just say, "If you believe that, you're a sucker." You're just reading headlines. If you believe that,
Yes.
you're a sucker. I think
Yes.
that would work so well because we I think it's the TikTokification of so much, it's the headlines, right? People don't look, they glance.
Yep.
Right? They're not reading the article, they're glancing at the headline, and they just say, "Oh, RFK Jr, anti-vaxxer," in the same way
Yes.
that people were dismissing what was happening during COVID, right? Or the
Yep.
origin story of COVID, and they're saying, "Oh, the
Yep.
conspiracy theorists." Right?
I
That's it.
remember, I think it was Brianna Joy Gray. She said, RFK Jr., he's a genocidal maniac. Like he's murdering people. Who's in charge? Like, how insane is that? That she
Mhm.
actually said that. He's a genocidal maniac. He's killing people now. He's
Yeah.
bombing. If I remember, every single president for the past 70 years has bombed, except Jimmy Carter, has bombed people. Except Jimmy Carter, every president. Obama bombed 8 countries and won a Nobel Peace Prize doing it. Now that's impressive. Won a Nobel Peace Prize bombing 8 countries. These are the
Wow.
genocidal maniacs. Trump, Biden, Obama, Bush, Clinton. These are genocidal maniacs who you've been voting for and putting into place the whole time. Not Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Mhm.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Sucker. Sucker.
It's true.
So she's going to make sure that either Harris or Trump is in charge. They will bomb people. They've proven it already.
Wow.
I'm sorry,
That
I get
is
excited.
no, no, no. It's the passion. It's the passion, and I think it's great. I'm also really fascinated to learn about that breaking points isn't really for the middle, but they're for the left and the right.
Yeah,
And something that I'd love to talk about is how do you think the left and the right could begin to have meaningful conversations again? Maybe not so much in
yeah,
terms of media, but like I don't know, but, like, for me, over the past, like, 8 years, I've just genuinely seen people, like, unfriend each other because of
yep,
certain beliefs, certain like, just their alliances politically, right? Like, "Oh, I can't be friends with a Democrat, I can't be friends with a Republican." More so the I can't be friends with the Republican part, right? I've
yeah,
seen so many more Republicans say, "I don't care who you vote for." Like, I'm fine, but there is some sort of virus on the left that seems to just feel like they cannot be friends or communicate with someone else, and I'm like, "How do we fix that?" Like, how
yes.
could we get
And
people talking again in a more meaningful way?
it has actually swapped from about 50 or 60 years ago. About 60 years ago, the left was very open. They were all like hippies and free love and make love, not war. They were all
Sure.
like that. And the Republicans were the ones like, stop all the bad people. That was back in like the 60s and 70s. Don't do that. They're bad people. Drugs bad. They were all like that. Now it's reversed. Now the left is all like, say what we tell you to say or you're gone. The right's like, do you just hate those guys? Join us. Like they've
Mhm.
completely swapped. I'm old enough to remember that time when it was the Republicans who were the censorious people and the Democrats were the free love people. Those days are gone. But
Wow.
you're correct. It's even worse in that there is a gender gap issue. Lots and lots of men are moving right, and lots of women are moving left, which is
Mhm.
making it hard to date, making it harder to have
Yeah.
babies and have families. That's becoming tougher also. Even work. People are like, I don't want to work with someone who's that way. I don't want to be in a neighborhood with somebody who's that way. We are
Yeah.
segregating ourselves, which is why I'm telling you, if we don't fix this, there will eventually be violence. That's how it
100%.
works. When people don't have a voice, they will resort to violence. It is simply human nature. It's not me. And I don't know when it's going to happen. Is that next year, 10 years? I don't know. But that's what happens eventually. So, how do you fix that? One thing, and I found it when I ran for office, focus on the outcome. That's the issue. So, you can't say, are you for school choice? Now you're fighting. You got to say, do you want better schools? Yeah, I do. Is the government doing a good job right now? No, it's not. Now we're having a conversation.
Hmm.
That's it. If I go, school choice is the answer. You hate poor kids. You're evil. Now we're fighting.
Sure.
You must focus on the outcome. If you go, stop the wars, now people are mad. If you go, wouldn't a peaceful world be better? It would be.
Hmm.
Are we doing it right now? Nah, a lot of wars. You're right. Let's talk about it. Conversation. So you can't say the thing they want you to say. You have to speak about the outcome that we agree upon. If we agree upon the outcome, the problem is when I do the left right one word story, the second that you say whatever is the thing, if I go Medicare for all, right,
Sure.
whatever, if I'm on the left, immediately the right goes communist. I can stop
Hmm.
talking now. They're a communist. Stop talking. They're idiots, whatever. They're bad. And I then assign every negative thing. The reverse, I say school choice. Psh, hates poor kids, just wants rich people to have stuff. They're an elitist. I can't talk to them. They're horrible, blah, 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 right? I create the one word story. So focus on the outcome. If you talk about that, people will communicate with you because in reality, most people want good outcomes. If
Sure.
someone actually doesn't want good outcomes, why are you talking to them?
Yeah.
Right? If someone goes, no, I want to hurt the poor kids. Wow, okay, you can leave now. Right? I mean, if you honestly think that, you can leave now. Great. Right? But even the guy or gal who says school choice, that person actually believes that that's the right answer, even for the poor kids. Or they wouldn't say
Hmm.
that. If someone says, I want stronger schools, centralized control, they don't want to, they don't hate poor kids. They think that's the best answer for the poor kids too. Or they wouldn't say that. And that's the point that we don't get. The people aren't trying to harm. They're doing what they think is best with the information they know. And the best example I can give you is Thomas Sowell. Now, I'm a
Okay.
libertarian, open libertarian. I've always been around as a libertarian. I think libertarianism, well, I'm not radical. I do think it's the best answer compared to all the others. That is my view. People disagree with me. It's fine. That's what I believe. So, and my policies are always that way. So Thomas Sowell is now a very famous libertarian writer, author, speaker,
Okay.
activist. He used to be a Marxist. He was a Marxist. So
Wow.
he met Milton Friedman in college. They talked back and forth. He then worked for the Department of Labor. He worked for the government and realized everything Friedman said was correct and became a libertarian. Now he is a
Wow.
hardcore libertarian, more hardcore than I am. He is a hardcore libertarian. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean he's stupid? Thomas Sowell, for those who don't know, is Thomas Sowell.
Hmm.
Thomas Sowell is one of the smartest men on the planet. And I'm not exaggerating. He is in the top 1% of brilliant men on the planet. So why would he be a Marxist? Because with the information that he had and the experience that he had, that seemed to be the right answer. He thought it was the best answer with the information and knowledge that he had, experience that he had. He then got different knowledge and different
Yeah.
experience and went, I was wrong. This is a better answer. Done. And
That's
I
how
will
things should
give
be.
Bobby Kennedy Jr. the same thing. Bobby Kennedy Jr. used to think the border's fine and we're at the border, it's great. If you remember, he was like, it's
Hmm.
fine. Why the border's
Yeah.
fine. What are you worried about? And then his people said, dude, go to the border. Just go. He went to the border. And he was like, okay, there's a problem. We got to do something about his border. It's a problem. And it's not because he wasn't smart. With the information that he had, he thought the border wasn't a problem. He went there and got more information and had different experience. But you know what? I was wrong. The border's a problem. And I think that is how you deal with it, if that makes sense.
No, yeah, absolutely. The amount of times that I've seen RFK Jr. like not change his mind, but develop his thinking because he got
Correct.
new information. Like I saw this with abortion, right? Like he thought one thing, and I saw it on PBS. It was like 8 months ago, and he said this is just what I believe. And then now 8 months later, he has a new position, right? Because he has a new perspective because he didn't know it was such a grand problem. And now this is kind of a very like I think it'd make Republicans and Democrats happy, right? Because he is pro choice, but he's also pro life, right?
Yep.
In that same sense, and which I think is just speaking to the moderates of people. It's not as loud as some extremists, but it is what's good. It is the probably the best alternative, like you described, in terms of like in a contingent election, right? I don't know if
Yes.
everyone would be voting for Trump. I don't know if he gets 26, or I don't know if Kamala gets 26, but
She never gets 26.
I do think there's gonna be some heated arguments in there, and
Yes.
they might end up choosing the best alternative, which might be RFK Jr. So,
Well,
I think
think
that'd be
about it. If
really,
your
really
state
exciting.
voted for Biden, are
Mhm.
you ever going to vote for Trump as a state? Remember, you only get one vote, and a
Yeah.
congressional group has to decide what that vote is. Every congressman who's a Democrat who votes for Trump, they're finished. Like their careers are all
Sure.
over. Their
That's
all careers are
interesting.
over. That's why they'll
Wow.
never do it because all their careers will be over. There is no way Oklahoma never votes for Harris, no matter what. They would literally shut Congress down first. They'll all lose their seats. That's why I'm telling you this is a realistic thing to happen. This could happen. Because
Whoa,
what
that
winds
just
up
blew my
happening
mind.
is, yes, they would never do it. So Bobby Kennedy Jr. can literally bribe them all and legally bribe them all. He could legally give, he could say, hey, if you lose your seat, no worries. You want to be in my cabinet? I would love to be in your cabinet. Not, I could be some junior senator from Oklahoma, or I can
Mhm.
be ambassadors to Sweden. I'll
There we
take
go.
ambassador to Sweden. I can be some junior senator in South Carolina, or I can be, whatever, deputy secretary of HUD.
I love
Yeah,
it.
I'll take that gig,
That
100%.
sounds great. I can
So
move to
he
DC.
then fills the cabinet with the people who are there, so they don't
Mhm.
mind losing their seats. They're leaving
Wow.
anyway.
Yeah, I do think that's a very real consequence to voting for either Kamala or Trump if you have a seat to protect, right?
Correct,
If you have a seat to protect, it's a double-edged sword. Either you're done
100%.
or you vote RFK Jr. That's
Yeah,
fascinating.
yes.
That's
Yes. And
fascinating.
he has the
Wow.
way out. And the example I'll give you, I always try to give examples of what actually happened, right? The best example I'll give you is Mike Pence.
Mhm.
Mike Pence, nobody wanted to be Trump's VP. Remember how people didn't want to be him in 2016? Oh, guy's
Sure.
crazy. Well, Pence jumped right on board. People say, why did he do that? Because he was about to lose his governor's seat in Indiana. He was an unpopular governor in Indiana. So he had two choices: lose his seat and I guess go write books or something, or paint or whatever, or become VP.
Sure, sure, sure.
He said, I'll take VP. If Trump loses, Pence is still out in his ass. Doesn't matter. Either way, he's out in his ass because he's going to lose his governor seat. So he's out in his ass either way. He's out to VP. Made the VP. Now the guy's making, he's talks for 50 grand for one talk. His life is set now. He's
He's
getting
good.
paid. He's good now. That was the
Yeah.
best move we can make.
What
People
do you
know
do
that.
after that? Like, let's say you're a governor, you don't get reelected,
Yep.
like Mike Pence. What do you do after that? Do you just go
Well,
have a
if you
regular
don't,
job or
well, no, but you do several things. Number one, the first thing you do is you write a book to have memoirs. Number one.
sure.
Second, you go on a speaking tour. Right? You're on a speaking tour because you know people will come see you. So
Yeah.
people who want to do it, and you do that by networking. What people don't realize is, why does someone want to spend 50 grand or 25 grand to hear Mike Pence speak? They don't. They want to be in a room with
Yep.
people who can spend 25 grand to hear Mike Pence speak.
Mhm.
It's the networking piece. They don't care about Mike
Sure.
Pence, whatever, they don't care. But in that room is people who can afford to spend $25,000 to hear Mike Pence speak. That's the reason why they want to be there. The
Sure.
networking and business that gets done in that room is what they care about. They care about Mike Pence, whatever. He's some dude. However, since he can keep doing that, now Mike Pence says, you want me to speak? I want in. So now
Yeah.
the new deals that get done, Mike Pence is a piece of those deals. Why I think people all of a sudden are parts of things. Why I think half the guys, remember half the guys who leave, they become part of some venture capital firm, some cannabis company, some
Yeah.
Bitcoin company, right? Because they can draw people as investors. That's
Mhm.
what politicians do. You become popular, you draw them as investors. That's what you do. Nobody cares what Pence says. They care about who's in that room, and that's
Sure.
how they can make business. But something else, Pence knows how the system works. So now I'm trying to do some new thing. I want to build this, change that, do that. Pence knows exactly who to talk to. He knows who to call
Yeah.
because it's all government, right? In our current system, you can't build anything without the government getting their cut. That's how it works. No one builds anything without government cut. Pence knows exactly who to call in what agency to make sure your stuff gets done. So you pay Pence a cut and say, "Hey, call these guys." And this is legal, by the way. It's not illegal. And he calls them up. "Hey, Johnny, I got I got Adam and Larry. They're getting ready to put together this so and so. What are we gonna do? Oh, that's law so and so, and Jane takes care of that. Thank you, my friend." Calls up Jane, gets the paperwork set. We're done.
Boom.
That's
And things
why.
get
That's what you
done.
do once you're done. Yes,
Wow.
it's they actually call it a was it Congress to K Street, because K Street is where all the lobbyists are. It's the Congress to K Street pipeline. So you
Wow.
leave Congress and go to K Street, become a lobbyist. You get paid tons of money to lobby.
Wow. It's crazy how much value your name becomes just through name recognition of obtaining an office that high.
100%.
Wow.
I see it in
What do
my
you
personal business.
Yeah.
I ran for governor in 2018, and I thought, "Oh my God, I'm going to be screwed," right? Because once I run, they're going to know that I'm political. They're going to know I'm
Mhm.
libertarian. They're not going to work with me anymore. Was not true at all. At
Did
all.
it
But you ran
did
for
it draw
governor?
more business?
100%.
There we
Yeah.
go.
I haven't promoted my business years. My company's name is
Wow.
Neosage. If you look, it's right there. See, this is Neosage right there? That's my company.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Nobody knows because nobody cares.
That's
But that's
interesting.
the name of my company. Yeah. If you go to
Sure.
neosage.com, that's my company. You'll see me there. That's my company. That's how I make my money. I'm a business consultant during the day. That's what I do. That's
Sure.
why I wear a cool shirt. I consult with businesses. I'll be an officer in a public company if you need me. I'll be an executive. I'll do executive training. I'll do leadership coaching, whatever you need me. I'm a consultant. But
Sure.
you wouldn't know that because I don't have
You
to.
don't need to.
I had to promote Sharpway show. That's my show. I struggle to do. I got to promote
Yeah.
that. I don't got to promote my business. Nothing. And it happened once I ran. So it
Wow.
worked even, and I only got 2% of vote. I got 100,000 votes. It's not like I became governor, just running. So I'm have
And what
everyone like, I got to run for office so I can make money. Yes. Sadly, it's probably true.
it's crazy how much good could come out even if you don't make it in office, right?
But what I
Yeah.
always
Wow.
tell people who want to run for office, I ask them a couple questions. The first question I ask them is, and it's going to sound crazy, can you buy a brand new car right now if you had to? It's a question I ask. What?
Sure.
I said, right
Because you
now.
need to.
No, not because you need to, because you're going to lose money
Oh, sure.
and you're going to be in a financial hole for a while. And if you're not set financially to the point where you could buy a brand new car right now, you are not ready to run financially.
You think all cash?
Yes, you got to be able to buy it either through
Sure.
debt or through all cash or something. You have to
Mhm.
be able to purchase a brand new car today. You have that kind of credit rating, that kind of down
Sure.
payment, that kind of
Wow.
money, something. If you cannot buy a brand new car today, do not run for office because it will absorb you. And whatever you do for a living will suffer. You
Sure.
might have to lose your job. You're not going to have any overtime. If you're an entrepreneur, it's going to suffer. Whatever you do financially is going to suffer. When I was done my run in 2018, I was 6 figures in debt.
Okay.
When I was done in 2022, I was $40,000 in debt. If you want to run a serious campaign, you need to be prepared that you will be in financial trouble for a short period of time.
Mhm.
However long that campaign is. It's a year, 6 months, whatever, for that period of time. Number one. Number two, will you be better off personally if you lose?
Wow.
If yes, I ask that question. If they go, well, no, then don't run. Don't do it. You must say to yourself, yes, I'll be. People always go, but I will have changed the system. You will have changed nothing. Stop fooling yourself. Don't play yourself. You're not changing shit. Nobody cares. It's not gonna unless you win or do something great. Nobody cares. You're gonna be forgotten. I know it sounds horrible, but it's just true. You'll be forgotten. So please don't fool yourself. So unless you plan on winning, which some people do, right? If you plan on winning
Mhm.
or making huge headway to where you can, be known or make some kind of thing, like I got ballot access, you get ballot access for your state or something like that, that's good. But if you're just running to run, don't play yourself. Stop that. Will you be better off once you're done? And if you go, well, yeah, because I'll make some connections in my local community. Ah, good, then run. That makes total sense. Yeah,
Sure.
because if I do it, I'll push this tax thing and then they'll lower taxes. And oh, good, then do it. You run. Yes, makes total sense. Right. Will you be better off in some way? Yes. Next, can you accept that you'll be backstabbed horribly by people who you think are your friends?
Mm.
And they go, what? Yeah, you will be backstabbed by people who you think are your friends horribly. It
Did
won't
that
hurt. Can
happen
you
to you?
handle that? All the time. So
Really?
often. So often. Constantly. Constantly. Politics, you just said it. Politics makes people crazy. They hate each other. They don't talk to each other. Of course. Absolutely.
Man.
And if you plan to make any impact at all, are you prepared to being dragged online via lies, things that are not true, things that are just made up? And people go, well, no, I'm squeaky clean. Does not matter. If you're going
They'll
to
find
make
something.
impact, they will just lie. Bobby Kennedy Jr. They just make stuff about him constantly. The second you make impact, the last month, when I was running in 2018, I started making impact at one point. That's when
Okay.
all of a sudden hit pieces came out. So about hit pieces, then they all came out. Prior to that, nobody was paying attention to me. I wasn't making any impact. All of a sudden, I'm on Joe Rogan. All of a sudden, I'm on Glenn Beck. All of a sudden, people talking about me. All of a sudden, I'm on Spectrum News in New York State. That's a big deal. Those that are in New York State, that's not a big. It's a big
Sure.
deal in New York State, right? I'm on Capitol Tonight in Albany. All of a sudden, people are hearing my name. I'm polling at 3, 4, 5%.
Wow.
All of a sudden, Larry Sharpe hates cops. My father was in law enforcement, and all of a sudden, I hate
Mm.
cops. Lies. Larry Sharpe's anti-gun. I was the only guy rated by the Gun Owners of America A+. The only one. Blatant lies, right? Blatant lies. Didn't matter. So if you're not prepared for that, don't run. If you're
Wow.
ready for all those things, get out there and run, brother. Get out there and run. There's the answer. Go do it because we
Wow.
need more
And
people
there's
to run.
almost no way to avoid any of that. Like, there's no way to
Yes,
avoid
do nothing.
critiques or criticisms.
Do nothing. Stay
Sure.
home. Stay home.
Gotcha.
Yes, that's why I say don't run. They will attack you. They will call you names. They will insult you. But the thing is, it won't last. There's something that matters. People don't insult me now. Why? I'm not running.
Sure.
They only insult you when you are a threat to them. Right now, I'm some dude. I hardly ever get insults now. I mean, here or there, but hardly ever. I run again. Oh, every insult in the world.
Mm.
Terrible guy, basically kills people, whatever, just horrible insults. Because they have to dismiss me.
Mhm.
I have to be dismissed. Because if they
Yeah.
actually have substance conversation with me, they get hurt badly. Because I actually have policies, and the
Exactly.
left-right paradigm doesn't have any. If you notice, Harris has nothing on her website.
I know. We talk about it all the
Neither
time.
does neither does Trump.
Trump has policies on his website. I believe he actually has, like, a 20-page
Okay.
PDF.
Okay. My point being, the Republican Party has no platform.
Sure.
Their platform is whatever Trump says.
100%. Yeah, he's the leader.
Yes. That they have what the voice of the king is law. Right? That's it, right? The king's voice is law. So whatever Trump says is policy. That's how it works. Harris has no policy. Doesn't matter. But why does it matter? It doesn't. Trump will simply say Harris bad. Harris will simply say Trump bad. That's the entire piece. And the worst part
Mhm.
about this is right now, I know people think that the Walsh pick for Harris was a bad pick. That was an amazingly good pick. The best pick she could have made. If I was advising her, I would have advised him. That was such a great pick. People say, why? He's a hardcore lefty. Who the hell cares? She's not trying to convert Republicans. She doesn't care what Republicans think. She doesn't care.
Sure.
Harris does not give a damn what Republicans think at all. It means nothing to her. She doesn't care what you think about her. If you're a Republican, she does not give a damn about you. If you died tomorrow, she would not care. She does not care about you at all. What she wants is more of her people to show up. There are about
Mhm.
49, give or take, million registered Democrats, only about 40 million registered Republicans. So there's more registered Democrats than Republicans. So she
Mhm.
knows if more of them show up, she wins. That's all she cares about. She wants 80% of Democrats to show up and 40% of Republicans to show up, and she's president. That's
Yeah.
all she wants. She hopes Republicans don't show and Democrats do. Why do you think they're not fighting at all? If you know, Democrats aren't fighting any of the election conspiracy stuff. They don't fight that
Yeah.
because you know what makes Republicans go, well, why bother? It's all rigged. They know that. So they don't say anything about that. They're like, yeah, it's all rigged. You keep thinking that, Republicans, all rigged. Don't show up. It's all rigged. Democrats are doing that. They don't say anything about that. They never say that. You never hear Democrats have that. Never say a word. Good.
Mhm.
Keep thinking it's rigged. Republicans, don't show up. That's what they want. And the Democrats are all like, but abortion. They say abortion in New York State. And I want to be clear. Certain
Mhm.
states, abortion, there's some worries. I get that depending where you
Sure.
live.
Sure.
In New York State, it is literally codified in law in my state. There is no way that abortion is going away in my state. It is literally impossible. You'd have to change our constitution. It's impossible. It's never, and we're 3-1 Democrat Republican in my state.
Yeah.
Never going to happen. And they still go. The governor goes, "We got to protect the right for women's reproduction." Where? Not here. That's not a thing.
Yeah.
But they say it. Why? Because if I say that, I can say Trump is anti-woman.
Mhm.
That becomes the one-word story. Don't listen
Yep.
to Trump. Now you're a sucker again. You become a sucker again.
Yep.
And they're doing that anti-woman thing with the other guy, JD Vance. He's
JD
anti-woman.
Vance.
Then don't listen. You're a sucker again. Again, if you
Yep.
listen to the policies and you prefer them, I get it. That is a smart
Yeah.
reason to vote for either of them. But to ignore them because they're the thing, you're a sucker. And the Democrats
100%.
are relying upon that. And sadly, it could work. Harris can win this thing. Biden
Yeah.
had no chance of winning this thing. Harris can win this thing.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a while. I had some concerns at first with Harris, but as soon as she kind of had a platform, like 2 days after she announced it, I was like, "Guys, we should not be dismissing this at all.
Yes.
You guys think the race is over? You guys think just because Trump had the July 3rd, oh, this is 1 month since, but I mean July 13th event, you guys think it's a game over?
Everybody
No.
forgot. Everybody forgot.
Everyone's done. People moved
They
on.
forgot
It's so
that.
sad.
They
It's
moved
so
on.
sad.
Whatever.
It really
They
it
don't care
really
at all.
is.
I completely agree. And Walsh is the thing with Harris, which is good and bad for her, right? Bad for us, but good for her, is she has no actual moral compass. Like she doesn't really
Yeah.
have any views on anything. They go, she's a hardcore lefty. If that's what gets her elected, yes. Or she's tough on crime. If that gets her elected, yes. She doesn't care. Now, actual Democrats who lean left know that. The people who aren't paying attention, the people they think that whatever Sean Hannity tells me is true, right? And it's not. Harris has no moral compass. She's whatever. But Waltz is a true believer. He is. He's a lefty and a true believer. He does believe in this stuff. So when she picked him, the far left, who was trying to get Jill Stein to do something, was like, "Oh wait,
Mhm.
can we go here?" She picked Waltz. Oh, she'll become left because she's a chameleon and she'll do whatever gets her elected.
Sure.
So we got Waltz. Maybe she's ours. That's where all that money came from. It was people on the left who thought they had no chance. They were trying to find somebody else, hoping it was Cornel West. It wasn't. Hoping it was Jill Stein. It wasn't. Here comes Harris. Oh, wait a minute. We got a shot now. Oh, she picked
Mhm.
Waltz. Take all my money. That's literally what they said. And
Sure.
that's why she shot at winning. It was a great pick. And he's an attack dog. He
He
will
is.
attack anybody. And she doesn't want to say anything. So good. Keep her in the basement. Send your attack dog out. And he'll go out and he'll attack everybody, call by names. Who cares? He doesn't care, right? He'll go out and do that. He'll be the attack dog. He's happy to be the attack dog. He'll be the
Sure.
attack dog. You sit in the basement, not say anything, because when she opens her mouth, it's embarrassing. So unless it's scripted in front of home people. So she'll try to not go out except where it's scripted with her own people. If I was advising her, I'd be like, you need to get sick when that debate comes.
Sure.
You're not debating. You're not debating. So get ready to have the flu.
I
Because you're
think
about
she
to have the
committed
flu.
to I think she committed to 3 debates already,
That's her
right?
hubris. That
Hmm.
no, Trump committed to 3. She committed to 1. As the last I checked, Trump said
Okay.
3. She agreed to 1 of the 3 at this moment. She may
Sure.
go to all 3. That's hubris on her side. This is what we talked about earlier. She
Mhm.
thinks she's actually great. She's not.
She's just on a good team.
Correct. She's
Yes,
not. She's on
yes,
an
she's just
amazing
on a good
team.
team. Oh,
Yeah.
that's so true.
I mean, the DNC is going to be basically a Beyonce concert. That's basically what it's going to be.
It
She's
already
gonna be like,
is.
I'm great. No, all the celebrities are great. You're not great.
Yeah.
If I was on stage with Beyonce, I am great. But not because I'm great, because Beyonce's great. Right? And I should understand
Yeah.
that. I'm still some dude. I'm lucky enough to be sitting next to Beyonce, which makes me great because I'm close to her, which is amazing. And please, Beyonce, if you're
Sure.
listening, please put me on stage. I would love to be on stage with you. So, in a
That'd be
case,
great.
but she thinks that, and she's like, "I'm gonna debate Trump, and I'm gonna." Oh, don't do that. That is a bad idea.
Yeah. We saw what happened when Joe Biden debated Trump.
He thought he was. I'm super cool, Joe. I got sunglasses in the Corvette. Yeah, but you don't know what planet you're on, brother. That's the problem. You gotta know what planet you're on first. It's the issue. Yes,
That
you
was
gotta know how to
that was
drive. All those
iconic.
things. Yes, it's terrible.
Wow.
So yeah, I this is the reason why I talk about Bobby Kennedy Jr. so much, because I think that, look, I'm a libertarian, as I said.
Mhm.
Why the hell am I pumping Bobby Kennedy Jr.? Because he has an actual chance at making real impact. Real impact. Either through getting a certain percentage, through winning certain states, or through winning the election, or anything in between. Nobody else running, nobody else who has run since Ross Perot has
Mhm.
had that potential. That's not true. Let me take that back. Gary Johnson had a chance in 2016 of getting 5%. He had a chance of getting 5% in 2016. That's one chunk that Gary Johnson had. He didn't get it, he got 3%, but
Sure.
that was a chance. He got 4.5 million votes. So that was a chance back then. Take away that chance. No one's actually made any impact like Bobby's gonna make since Ross Perot.
Wow.
And when you get rid of Ross Perot, it's been nobody since Lincoln.
Mhm.
So
What do
this is a
you
big deal.
what do you think success would look like for RFK Jr.'s campaign? Right? Let's say he doesn't win, right? But I think he still changes the game, right?
Yep.
Like you said, maybe one state, right? Maybe
Yep.
5%. Like, I'm wondering what you think that could look like.
What I just said. I mean, I think the team, if the worst case scenario in my view happens, and the worst case
Mhm.
scenario is he doesn't break 5%. I can't imagine that happening, to be forward with you. That seems
Sure.
unrealistic to me. But say I'm wrong, and all of a sudden people hate him or whatever, or whatever, something happens, right? And then I'm wrong. That to me would be a failure. That would be a failure. But as
Mm,
long as he breaks 5%, which I think is clear will happen, I
sure.
can't imagine a scenario where he doesn't break 5%. I can't imagine a scenario if he doesn't. I just can't. He's polled as high as 19%, right? And I think what will happen here is, right now, the press has taken over because first Trump was shot, which everyone now forgot about. Then Biden got, replaced, which all of a sudden every celebrity in DC, in Washington and Hollywood came out. And then all of a sudden now there's going to be the next week is the DNC convention, which is going to be a Beyonce concert, basically. Once that's over, now we have to see what happens. So for the next couple
Mhm.
of weeks, Bobby Kennedy Jr. is going to have a problem with the media. If you've noticed, I don't know if you're paying attention, he is
Mhm.
pumping out a lot of YouTube content.
Yes,
Lots of it. And he should. It's the right move, right?
I
Because
do.
you're not going to get in the media right now because everyone's talking about the upcoming Beyonce concert. So it's the right move. Do that right now. Have it available. Keep pumping it out. Do the podcast. He's doing it. I say travel. If you're listening, travel. I'm saying travel. That's my personal view that he should do that too. But you won't see much until after the DNC. Once that's
Mhm.
over, you'll see Kamala's shine come off because she's going to have to come out of the basement begrudgingly. She'll come out of the basement. She'll think she's all that because she just left the Beyonce concert. She's going to think she's the new Beyonce now. Clearly, she's
Sure.
not. She is going to embarrass herself. She can't not do that. Right? You can't, that's in her DNA. She can't not embarrass herself. So she will. And when she does, the shine will come off. And that's when you got to see Bobby's got to surge. That's when our
Mm,
got to surge right then and there. That's the takeoff point. Once she collapses, boom. Trump is on a downward spiral. You can see it.
yeah.
He's on downward spiral. Mentally, his team is broken. His team's broken. I understand this. I've run campaigns. I know how this works. His team has spent literally months prepping for the final push against Biden. Months for that.
Yeah.
They have all kind of oppo detailed. They've got design stuff. They've got plans for marketing, all in the garbage and having to reboot everything from scratch. That is heartbreaking for many of them. So they're broken. And they don't have, why isn't he putting out stuff? He doesn't even have talking points yet. Have you noticed that his talking points are still, well, Biden did this. They don't have talking points for Kamala yet.
Yeah.
They don't have Harris talking points yet. They're in trouble right now. If you remember Laura Loomer, who I know, Laura, she is a
Sure.
huge Trump fan. She is like
Hmm.
#1 Trump fan. She
Even she's
posted on,
saying it.
she's like, we're in trouble. I love the man and we're in trouble. That's her.
Yep.
If she's saying it, believe it. If Laura
100%.
is saying Trump's in trouble, believe it. She knows that campaign. She is up in there with all of them. She knows. If she says it, it's real. So Trump's spiraling. Kamala's doing this, but then Kamala's going to fall. When she falls, somebody's going to shoot up. I hope it's not Trump, and I hope instead it's Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Hmm.
But someone's going to fill that gap and shoot up. I'm hoping it's Bobby. That's our shot.
Yeah.
When that pops up, boom, we can explode. Hopefully, we can get some type of debate. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I hope it will. Bobby Kennedy will make all of the he'll make all of the criteria. The hope
Sure.
is they'll actually be afraid of getting sued and actually put him on. I hope. We'll see. If he gets to the debate stage, I mean that's a game changer.
Oh my gosh. 100%.
Game changer.
He'd be in the national conversation at that point.
100%.
And
That's how
people
Jesse
would,
Ventura won in the 90s.
there we go. Wow. Do you think if the Democratic Party had a genuine election, do you think Kamala Harris would be at the top of the ticket?
No way in the world. Absolutely no way in the world. No way. Now, I'm not sure the people who you think would have actually run, because at the time when
Hmm.
Biden was running against Trump, most Democratic Party thought there's no chance of victory.
Sure.
No chance. So why would someone like a Gavin Newsom step up, lose, and then he's
Yeah.
done? His turn's over. You had
Hmm.
your shot, brother. Sorry, you out. So
He
I
could
think
run
those
in
guys
4
would have.
years.
No, he could. Now he can. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
He'll run in
Yeah.
4 years. Yeah. He wouldn't try this one. However,
Exactly.
desperate guys would have jumped up in a heartbeat. In a
Hmm.
heartbeat. Guys who know they're finished, guys who know they only got one shot left, guys who are
That's
going to lose their
interesting.
seat, they'd have jumped up in a heartbeat. You had 6, 7, 8 guys jump on board. Of course.
Mm.
And then any debates, Harris gets her ass kicked.
Yeah.
So yes, so
Yeah. I
no,
mean,
but it wouldn't have been who you thought. Like it would not have been people who really, because at that time they thought there was no chance of victory.
yeah. The only names we
So
were hearing were Newsom and Obama. Those are like the two
well,
primary names.
Whitmer,
Yes, and Whitmer.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have been them. It would have been somebody else, not them, because they all
Hmm.
want to run in 2028. By the way, they
Do
keep
you,
telling you if Trump wins, there'll be no democracy. Yet they all plan on running in 2028.
yeah. There's
You're a sucker if you believe that. That's my point,
a threat to
right? If there's
democracy
no
has to be the worst
yes,
line ever.
yes. If
Oh
democracy is
man.
about to go away, then you're not running in 2028, are you? Because it's not going away. There will be a
Hmm.
2028, and it's going to be a
100%.
Newsom Whitmer ticket if they have their way, right? If they have their way, that's what they're going to have. That's what they're not running this year. They were like, go
You know,
ahead. This is the funny part. They were like, go ahead, Kamala. You're so dumb. You're going to get screwed. Then all of a sudden, all the money came in. They went, wait, I wanted that. Wait, you're
hmm,
winning? You're beating Trump right now when I'm opposed? Oh, I was just kidding. Can I run now? Now
sure.
they're all pissed off that they didn't run.
I think what's really concerning for me isn't that I think Kamala could possibly be president for the next 4 years. It's that thinking there's a possibility that she's president for the next 8 years.
Yes.
Because she would absolutely run again. And if she won
Yes.
this time, there's almost no reason to think that she wouldn't be able to win again.
Of course.
And and then we'd have 12 years of the Biden Harris kind of administration. That's dangerous. I don't
Yes.
know.
But I actually don't think right now, the way it's working now, I don't see any president actually lasting more than 4 years.
Really? Why?
We're at the end of the empire. At
Huh.
the end of the empire, the emperors change quickly.
That's interesting. What
Yeah.
changed? Because before, like usually, if a president won, right, they would almost be
Well,
guaranteed eight
because
years.
nothing gets fixed anymore.
Huh.
Nothing gets fixed anymore. The system is so broken it cannot. The system's goal now is simply to survive. The system's goal now isn't to repair anything. Remember, whatever the people want is irrelevant. I'm not joking when I say that. The vast majority of Americans did not want Trump or Harris or Biden. The vast majority, and it did not matter. It is irrelevant.
Yeah.
The vast majority of Americans want a third party. We're not getting it. It doesn't matter what we want. The vast amount of Americans don't want us fighting overseas wars. We're fighting him. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we think. We are now peasants, and the emperors above make things happen via the system. The people who run it, Tulsi Gabbard said it. The people who run it are the permanent Washington. The Praetorian Guard of the Roman Empire runs the empire. They run the empire. The figureheads at the top rotate back and forth. Doesn't matter. The same people stay in charge. So the emperors go quickly at the end of an empire, right?
Wow.
They go quickly. So yeah, I don't see any president having more than 4 years for the next 20 until the empire collapses or until we have an actual third party make change. Once the
Exactly.
system stops perpetuating itself, here's how you also know, by the way. We're so used to it. And I'll use New York as an example. California too, but New York's the worst example. There is literally no increase in economic growth without government in New York State. None.
Wow.
Government is the way. Our GDP is mostly government spending now, because GDP is all spending to include government spending. It's mostly government spending. Our entrepreneurial spirit is gone. We're destroying them.
Wow.
So if we can't make things and do things, and now AI is getting rid of more jobs. So everything's going away. Nothing's getting fixed. They don't care about the people. We are just in the way. Right? They're forcing us to get, Trump talks about this, right? You told about Trump too. They're forcing us all to get electric cars. I'm not against electric cars at all. At all.
Sure.
Have them if you want to, but they're forcing. Everything's a law. Everything's a force. Everything's a law. Everything's forced. Everything. Because without it, you can't grow. The second someone has a problem, the first thing they say is, let's have a government come in. When you add government, you destroy community. That's how it works. We have to grow community so we can destroy government. Government goes out of its way to destroy community because that's how it lives. But the next thing to remember is when you have community, you actually don't have a monopoly. When you have community, you have multiple communities. You actually have an actual market with people to choose and decide. When you have government, by default, you have monopoly. Now, if you ask a person, you say, do you like monopoly? No, monopoly's bad. Well, government's monopoly. No, government's different. No, it isn't. It's the same. It's the same. It's monopoly. Monopolies never help the people. They don't have to. They're monopoly. That's the point. Your customers become in the way. And we're making more and more of it where we're in the way. The example I'll give you is our medical system. Our medical system right now, if you take insurance, if your doctor takes insurance, you go there, there's 2 doctors in the whole office and like 6 administrators.
Yeah.
And it's all about collecting your information, getting the photocopy, whatever. They don't care about you. They don't care about you at all. You're secondary. Your appointment's at 3. You get seen at 4:45. Maybe. The doctor sees you for maybe 5 minutes. And once he's done, the doctor always ends in 3 ways. 1 of 3 ways. A procedure, a prescription, or a test. Always. No matter what, one of those 3. They recommend. Why? That's how to get paid.
Or another appointment.
Or another appointment. How to get paid.
Yeah.
Always. That's how to get paid, right? So why they treat you so poorly? The waiting room is terrible. The magazines are old. It's all ripped up. Why? Because you don't matter. You're not the customer. The insurance company is the customer. You're not. You're in the way. Shut up. Order your prescription so I can get paid. Get out of my office, please. You're in my way. My customer, the insurance company, would like to talk to me, right? They get rid of you. Now, how do I know this? Because I live in New York City. And in New York City, the wealthy, they don't go to those doctors. The wealthy go to private doctors. They don't go to insurance doctors. None of their doctors take insurance. They don't. Now, if you are wealthy and you have a business, you get what's called the Cadillac plan. The Cadillac health plan is you get out of a network and they reimburse a certain percentage, whatever that percentage is. So you go to regular doctors who don't take insurance. They give you a receipt. You submit your receipt. Your insurance company gives you a couple bucks on it, but you don't care. You're wealthy. So when you show up, you swipe your credit card or give them a check. Your appointment's at 3:00. You get seen maybe 3:05 at the latest. Why? Because you're the customer.
Exactly.
The waiting room is nice. The people are polite to you. They're nice to you. They're not going, sit over there. None of that. They're nice to you because you're the customer. When a doctor talks to you, the doctor says things like, so how's your energy? How are you eating? How are you sleeping? What's your stress level? They care. Why? Because they got paid. You're the customer. You paid them. You swiped your credit card. They're paid. They're giving you actual attention. And if you ever go to a doctor who takes insurance, he will literally give you a prescription for Tylenol, for aspirin. I'm not joking. They will. Why? They make money. But the actual doctor who's private doctor goes, hey, take some Tylenol and be fine. You can get it at CVS. I can write you a prescription if you want to, but you can just go to CVS and get it. He's paid already. He has no incentive for the extra test. He has no incentive for the extra anything. He's paid. That is what happens when you have monopoly versus not monopoly. That's the
Yeah,
issue.
100%. I always think about whenever I needed to get dental work, right? And I was in California and I finally was able to qualify for like Medicare or something like that. And I was so excited because I had a problem. I had a problem in one of my teeth and
Mm,
I just needed to get help. And it was the worst thing in the world. I couldn't really drink anything, couldn't bite on that side. I was genuinely experiencing some pain. So as soon as I got like this card or this number, I made an appointment, right, with one of the people near me that took care of it, right? I go there, I have my appointment. I don't see a dentist at all. I just see a like dental hygienist, which is nothing
yep.
wrong with, right? But
Yep.
they're just examining. And then for about 2 minutes, a dentist comes in and he does not speak any language that I understand. It might have been like Arabic or something. And all this person does was they just write down things on the notebook, like, okay, this tooth, that tooth, this tooth, that tooth, and and that was it. Then they're gone. And then the hygienist, who was like a kind of a translator too, they end up saying, okay, yeah, you're gonna need another appointment. You're gonna fix these problems. And I'm like, I didn't know any better, so I'm like, okay, sure. I was a young gun here. And then I just leave. I come back maybe a couple days later, and I didn't even
And
know
you're
what they were
still in pain,
doing.
by the way.
I was still in pain, and then
Yep.
they do things, and I swear to you, they did not even fix the problem, and I think they actually
Yep.
made things worse, right?
Yep.
So, what I ended up doing, and this is, like, kinda like my testimony for healthcare, at least dental healthcare, which I believe is healthcare, and because I'm Mexican, so I'm comfortable going to TJ, Tijuana, so we go over
Sure.
there for the day, me and my family, and we go to their dentist, and the best thing ever is as soon as I just sit down in their chair, they it was the lady asked me in Spanish, like, "What's wrong? Like,
Yeah.
what are you feeling? What are you feeling?" And I just think that's the perfect, like, polar opposite of what's
Yep.
happening here. Here, they tell you what's wrong with you.
Yep.
You don't get to ask, right? At
But
least
not
for
private doctors.
yeah, not private doctors,
And
right?
that's my
Government
point. Now,
doctors. Mhm.
I'm bad because I always go to private doctors, right? I go too,
Yeah.
right? I hardly ever go to a doctor. Tell you the truth, I hardly ever go. But when I go to a private dentist. I go to a private doctor. So if you're in trouble and you call your doctor, your appointment's not for like 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I call mine. It's today.
100%.
It's today, right? So I want more people to have that.
Mhm.
I want to, and my all my policies are to give more people that. I don't want to. I don't want to punish the wealthy because they never get punished. It never works. They run things, so they
Sure.
never get punished. It's a fantasy. We're gonna tax the rich. Insanely stupid. You're a sucker. You know you're not. That's not. They run things. They're not getting taxed. That's a joke they tell you to make you think
Sure.
you're playing yourself. Stop that. They're not getting taxed. So
You're a
instead,
sucker.
give the people who aren't have high net worth, let them have the same value. That's the way you do it. You give everybody the good stuff versus trying in the more they try to rate it. They've made insurance so bad, the wealthy just go, I'm not going to be part of it. That's it.
Hmm. Yeah.
Whenever you hear people who are wealthy say Medicare for all, what they mean is Medicare for y'all. Not Medicare for all, for y'all. I'm
Sure,
not
sure,
giving
sure,
my
sure.
doctor. Y'all can have that Medicare stuff. And ask the
I like my
veterans how
doctor.
good. Exactly. Ask the veterans how good the government VA healthcare is. Ask them.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't because too many of them are putting a shotgun in their mouth because the system's so bad? Yeah, I know. I'm a veteran. I deal with them. Yeah, that's how bad it
Mm,
is.
sure.
Keep doing that. You want that system? Go ahead, chumps. That's what they think. I think
Yeah.
let's make a better system for everybody. Let's let the people who aren't high net worth to have the high net worth stuff. Why not? Let all of them have it. We could do that. That's a real system for me. Not let's
Mhm.
just have the government run everything because once that happens, the wealthy aren't going to be in that system. In fact, you
Sure.
know this thing right now. You did it yourself. You did it already. It's called medical tourism. You did it. You went to
Yep.
Tijuana. Medical
100%.
tourism.
And I
Yes.
loved it.
Once
That's
you
my
start making
dentist.
money, medical tourism. Now, what if I'm a regular Joe and I
Yeah.
can't afford to fly to Thailand? Or I don't live next to Tijuana and I got to fly to Mexico.
Mhm.
Well, I can't afford that. Well, I guess I'm screwed.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
a
the way the
problem.
world's supposed to be. America's supposed to be that way, but they're making it more that way. It's the wrong answer.
Mhm.
America, and I got to be very forward again. I'm gonna give a Bobby pump again. Bobby's the only one talking about health. The only one.
100%.
Nobody else is.
Well,
Nobody else is.
Trump just took one of his one of his ideas whenever he's talking about chronic health. He posted this on Truth Social. He's saying we need to start looking at vaccine safety. We need to start looking at the chronic health epidemic, and everyone's like, that sounds awfully familiar. And it
Yeah,
was
Trump's
because
stealing a
he
lot of
just
stuff from Bobby, no doubt.
yeah
I was just at the Bitcoin convention
yeah I
in
saw that.
Nashville, and when I was there, Trump was there, and so was RFK
Kennedy.
Jr. Kennedy did a great presentation. I don't know if anybody watching is into Bitcoin, but if you're into Bitcoin or crypto, clearly
Mhm.
Bobby Kennedy knows what he's talking about. It's not even close. He
Yes.
knows what he's talking about. He's a true believer. He's bought and owns Bitcoin like he is a believer.
He said he has
He's
most of
talking
his
about
wealth
short.
in Bitcoin.
Yes, he's actually
Mhm.
talking about shifting and trying to help to bolster the US dollar with a Bitcoin reserve to bolster the US dollar. I mean, that's insane. That's awesomely good. I'm so happy to hear that he's talking about that stuff. Trump was like, I'm going to have a rally here. And people were like, well, I'm going to leave. And then
Mhm.
like a day later, he's like, I'm going to say what Bobby said. And now he's just copying Bobby. He's
Yep.
copying Bobby left and right. You're totally correct. He's seen, go, I'll just copy that. And the problem is the mainstream media is going to cover Trump more than they're going to cover Bobby. So
Sure.
some people are going to think that's a Trump idea, not a Bobby idea.
Yeah.
It's
Do you
true.
think that's ultimately like good for just good generally for the country? Because a lot of the things that I talk about on this channel is just the general marketplace of ideas, right? And how I
Yep.
think the best ideas should elevate to the top. Not that it's not important where it comes from, but when you're when the posture is how could we push humanity forward, not every idea is going to come from you, but ideally I think the idea
100%.
comes from any party, right? And then the best idea, kind of like on Reddit or YouTube, usually at the comment sections, the top comments are going to be the ones with the most likes, right? And I think that's
Yeah,
a yeah, and that's how I
I'm with
feel
you. No, I
ideas
think
should
it's
be.
great. Literally, when I ran in 2018, I put all my policies on my website.
Okay.
Take them. Take them. They're still there. Take them. And many times libertarians who are running will like some of my libertarian ideas and they'll grab some policy pieces. And when they do, it's theirs now.
Sure.
They don't have to say it was Larry's. They go, no, no, it's mine. And I go, yes, it's yours. Yes, because I want it pushed. I don't care. I
Mm,
said it before. Someone asked me years ago, one of the guys running goes, Larry, why are you running? I said, because you guys suck. If you guys didn't suck so badly, I wouldn't run. I said, just
sure.
take my policies, fix my state. I'll go home. I don't want to do this. You guys suck so bad, you won't fix anything. You only care about grifting. So I have to run to make you look bad. If you
Mhm.
just take my policies and fix the state, I'll shut up. You'll never hear from me again.
For sure.
So yes, I
Yeah.
agree with you completely. I wish more people would do it. I hope. Look, the idea that Trump is even considering putting a libertarian in his cabinet is awesome. The idea that Bobby Kennedy Jr. is coming to libertarians talking to us is awesome. I'm happy people care about us. I'm not
Mhm.
fooling myself and think now libertarians are running the country. I don't believe that at all. I am happy that they even care about us now. So yes, to your point, if they take one libertarian idea, good. Good. Take one. All good. Happy to take
Sure.
whichever ones they want. I'm all in. I agree with you completely. I'll take what I can get.
Mm. Well, you what do you think is probably what some of the most critical issues that are facing this nation right now that probably aren't in the conversation?
You mean the mainstream conversation?
Yeah,
Yeah. One of
conversations
the
that people
biggest
are
issues,
avoiding.
one of the biggest issues that people don't understand is the military industrial complex. And the reason why that matters so much, and people don't get it, is twofold. Number one, the military industrial complex is nothing but a massive jobs program. That's what it
Mm,
actually is. It's a
wow,
massive jobs program. We're sending all this money overseas. No, we're not. We're giving them money so they can buy weapons from us, so we can make
sure.
things. That's all. It's a jobs program. So it's now taxpayer dollars, which it really isn't. It's magic money made out of thin air from the Federal Reserve to go to local companies who are billionaires, to go to local people who have bribed all of the congressmen and all of the people there, and those congressmen are all buying stock in all those companies, and to give them a bunch of money so that they can go build things and make jobs here in America. That's why, right? Only
Sure.
one country can make M1A1 Abrams. Only one country. So it's monopoly by default, right?
Yeah.
So that's number one. But number two, what that's doing is it's crushing our economy on two ways. Number one, there's no one who can compete with these giant companies. So competition destroyed. Number two, we're training people to not compete. So now they're losing the actual way of learning how to compete. They're losing the institutional knowledge on how to compete because all they learn how to do is bribe government officials. Number three, we are pushing out the private sector and actually spurring innovation. Only government-sponsored innovation, which is not good. Number four,
Mm,
we are ensuring a less stable world because if there aren't any wars, no one buys our stuff. Number four, because people are getting tired of the destabilized world and the attacks from America, we're now de-dollarizing the world. The United
wow.
States sanctions about 1/3 of all the countries on the planet. Do you know that?
I do not.
We have sanctions on about 1/3 of the countries on the planet.
Wow.
That's insane. So those countries are now going, well, then why would I want to be a part of you? So now they're de-dollarizing. Well, I think the BRICS exist, right? For those who don't know BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. And now 15 other countries have joined the BRICS. So they can now start trading in currencies other than the dollar. When the dollar is no longer the standard reserve currency, the United States economy will collapse by at least 20%, if not more, overnight. It'll be horrible because we can't just make money. And then all of a sudden
Sure.
our debt will come true. So now I got to pay $40 trillion or whatever the debt will be by then. And no one wants our dollars. We see it already. If you're paying attention, we struggle to sell all of our bills across the world now. We struggle now because they're like, I don't want to buy anymore.
Yeah.
Because the second you get mad at me, you sanction me. We literally stole Russia's dollars. Literally stole it and gave it to Ukraine. They had reserves. We took their reserves, gave it to Ukraine. Now you might say, well, Larry, I support Ukraine. I'm taking no stance on the war in this case.
Sure. Yeah.
Regardless of the stance on the war, America stole Russia's money and gave it to somebody else. That literally happened. Unacceptable, whether you think Russia's right or Ukraine's right or don't care or hate both or love both, whatever. You can't do that. If you do that, other countries go, wait, so you get mad at me, you steal my money? And I can't stop because you're American, you'll bomb me? Well, maybe I don't want your money anymore now. Because
Hmm.
then, right? Oh, I want to start something new. My name is Gaddafi and I want to actually start a Pan-African currency. I give up my weapons of mass destruction. All of a sudden I'm dead. Whoa. Maybe I don't want to give up my weapons of mass destruction. Maybe I don't want your dollar. That's happening all because of military industrial complex. That's the reason
Wow.
why that happens. So if you ask, the biggest issue affecting us right now as a country is that. Now, the other issue that's a more philosophical issue is the left-right paradigm two-party system.
Sure.
The party
Wow.
system destroys us, so we can't fix the military-industrial complex.
And I feel like that problem is so impossible to deal with from the bottom. Like it just depends on who you vote for. Like
Yep,
100%. Right? Like either you vote Trump, Kamala, Kennedy, it depends on how these people handle it.
correct.
Right?
And to
Like
be
what
forward, if you care
Mhm,
about this, if you vote Kamala, if you vote Harris or Trump,
mhm.
nothing changes.
Sure.
Nothing changes
Yeah. I
at
I, I
all.
agree.
Now, it's possible that Trump might stop the war in Ukraine faster. It's possible. I'm not saying that's true at all, but I'm saying that is possible. He might stop the war in Ukraine faster. But even if he does, we're still selling more weapons into Ukraine, and BlackRock already has all the contracts to fix Ukraine, which keeps all the bankers happy. So that's still happening either way. Russia's
Mhm.
still pissed at us and will never trust us ever again. Right? Still, China will never trust us ever again, regardless of whether Trump ends the war in Ukraine faster or not. I'm not saying he will, but he might. I think there's a chance he will. He's still going to be fighting in Israel and Gaza. That's not going to change. We're getting ready to fight Lebanon and Iran. Trump ain't stopping that. Trump was killing Iranian generals himself. He's not going to stop that. So he won't fight in the Ukraine. He'll fight in Iran. Whatever. Military industrial complex is still going unless Bobby Kennedy wins.
Sure. Well,
And this is the
you
part that gets
know,
me mad about a lot of people also. They get mad. They go, I can't vote for Kennedy because he wants to bomb Gaza.
Oh,
Let
yeah.
me be very
I
clear for anyone who believes that. I'll be very clear about this. No matter what you do, just accept this as true. Gaza's getting bombed. That's going to happen, and it sucks. I don't like it either. I don't want it to happen. I'm not advocating for this.
Mhm,
I'm a libertarian. I'm as anti-war as can be. I don't want Israelis bombing anybody. I don't want us bombing anybody. I don't want any of this. But I'm realistic. If I was president tomorrow, we would not be bombing Gaza. I would not be giving Israel anything to bomb Gaza. Nothing. That would be my
mhm.
personal view. I think it's the right answer. However, the only person who might stop it is Bobby Kennedy. Why? He changes his mind and he's not owned by the military industrial complex. So if there's any chance to stop it, it is Bobby Kennedy Jr. Otherwise, they're getting bombed. They're ramping up the war as we speak. They're ramping it up, not down.
Sure.
Trump's not going to stop it. Trump was like, going harder, blow them up more. That was Trump. Harris is all on board. Biden's all on board. So the only chance you have is if Bobby Kennedy Jr. wins and he changes his mind. That's the only chance. He's not owned by the military industrial complex.
Sure.
Harris is owned by them. Biden's owned by them. Trump is owned by them. They're all owned by the military industrial complex.
Mhm.
So that's your only shot. And if you go, well, I'm going to vote for Jill Stein, great. You will virtue signal. You will feel like you're a great person because you voted for Jill Stein. Meanwhile, Gazans still get bombed and killed.
Sure.
You'll have done nothing except make yourself feel better. Now, I get that. I've done it too. I voted for people to make myself feel better. I have virtue signaled too. I'm also guilty of that.
Yeah.
I am.
Sure.
All I'm saying is this time you have a chance. And I'll go one step further. Would you like someone like Jill Stein or Howie Hawkins or Cornel West to win an election? If you don't vote for Bobby Kennedy, that's not going to happen. Bobby Kennedy will break a hole in the system that others can run through.
Sure.
If he breaks a hole and makes third parties real, then Jill Stein has a shot. Then, Cornel West has a shot. Then whomever you want, the peace person you want will have a chance. Chase Sullivan's libertarian. He would stop the war in 5 seconds. He would have a chance. Everybody who you would want to stop that war will have a chance at winning. And to your point, Adam, at the local level, they'd have a chance. Congress, Assembly,
Mhm. Sure.
Senator, they would have a chance at actually winning if Bobby Kennedy breaks a hole. You want to
I
change
agree.
the world? You want to stop the war? Vote Bobby Kennedy.
I agree. On Israel and Gaza, like I know RFK has some pretty outspoken perspectives, and this is probably people's biggest hurdle with him.
Yep.
They don't want to
Agreed.
support him because his views on Israel and Gaza. Do you think those are the right views? Do you support him?
I already said no. I've already said so.
Sure.
I've already said so. No, I don't.
Yeah.
But let me be very forward.
Mhm.
No. And who's going to stop it? That's my point.
Yeah.
If I honestly care about war, and I do, I have been outspoken about this. I am an anti-imperialist. I do not want us having an American empire. I'm a libertarian. I can't stand it. Harris and Trump will not only maintain, they will increase the empire. They've shown it. They will do so. Absolutely. They will keep bombing. Bobby Kennedy Jr. does not like the empire. He's the only chance of making the empire smaller and the only
Mhm.
chance of stopping the bombing all over the world. The only chance. There's no other. Now, if you think someone like, again, Jill Stein will probably end all the wars too. I know her. She'd probably end all the wars also. I think Cornel West would also end all the wars. I think Chase Oliver would also end all the wars. If any of them had won, I think, but they have zero chance of winning or making impact. And that's
Sure.
not a disparagement on them. It's the reality of life. I know Chase personally. I've raised money for Chase when he ran for Senate. I've been on the stage with both Jill Stein and Cornel West. I know them. I like them. And they would end all the wars too. All four of us agree completely on that. Like if we
Mhm.
were in a room, we'd just be shaking each other's hands on that. We're all
Sure.
in agreement. And none of us can make any impact. That is my issue. If I thought Bobby Kennedy could make no impact, had no chance of winning, would have no chance of impact, I might vote for Chase Oliver because whatever, I might do it. I might
Sure.
virtue signal too. I might. Who knows? But Bobby can make a difference. Bobby
Mhm.
can break a hole. And Chase Oliver is young. He's only 30 something.
Wow.
Bobby Kennedy breaks a hole, Chase can win in 4 years or 8 years
Mhm.
or 12 years. He can win if Bobby Kennedy breaks a hole. And then the wars stop. You want to stop the wars? break a hole so an anti-war candidate can get in.
Mm,
There's not a Republican or Democrat, not one, who will stop the military-industrial complex. Not
sure.
one. And the reason is they can't raise money if they do that. They can't raise money. They can't stay in power. That's why they will never end it. It's not because they care about it. Most of them don't. It's because they literally cannot raise money without supporting the military-industrial complex. Bobby Kennedy Jr. does not support the military-industrial complex and still somehow raises money.
Sure.
That's the point. That's the point.
Yeah.
I hope I answered your question at least.
No, you absolutely did. Yeah, I just love hearing people's perspectives whenever they disagree with someone on like a critical issue for them, but they're still supporting them. I feel like we need more
Yes,
of that these days.
100%.
Like I agree with
No
Elon
one
Musk
supports
whenever.
everybody on everything.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
But
I agree
here's
with
double
Elon.
standard though, which drives me
Mhm.
crazy. And that is, if you are a Republican or Democrat, you can disagree on a bazillion things and still vote for them. Why? Better than the other guy.
Sure.
So I could name 6 things for a Trump supporter that someone does not like. And they go, yeah, but Kamala's worse. That's all that matters. So while I disagree with 6 things on Trump, I disagree with 12 on Kamala. Or I agree with 6 things on Harris, but I disagree with 12 on Trump. So I'm going to vote for them. But you only don't like one thing on Bobby Kennedy. One. Yeah,
Pretty
but
good.
that's the problem. That is the unfair issue. And it's the way it is, right? If you're independent, you have to be perfect.
Mm,
If you're not, you don't have to be perfect. You just be better than the other.
sure.
This is why third parties matter so much. Because what we're at right now is, look, I know I killed a guy, but Adam killed 3 guys. So are you gonna vote for the murderer or the mass murderer? Come on now.
That's so
I only
funny.
murdered 1 dude. Okay, I know it was brutal, but it was 1 dude. He murdered 3. He's worse. That's
Sure.
today. Versus, how about we don't vote for a murderer at all?
Yeah.
We have to have a third party for that.
I love the conversation happening with Jill Stein, and I'd love your perspective on because she's been running for a while, right? This
Yep.
isn't her first presidential campaign.
She
Why
ran
do
in
you think she
2016.
why do you think she can't win?
She didn't want to run. I don't mean to be mean. I think people who know the world know she didn't want to run. What they wanted to be forward, and this would have been right. Things just didn't work out because third parties don't work the way the other parties do.
Sure.
What the Green Party wanted was for Cornel West to run and for Jill Stein to support him in some form. Jill Stein is a very savvy organizer and a very savvy activist. She is. There's no doubt. She's
Mhm.
been around. She's in the world. People know her. She's good at that. That's her skill set. She's amazing at it. Whether you agree with her policy, I'm not a Green Party member. I don't agree with most of Green's policies, but doesn't matter. It doesn't make her any less talented. She's still talented and good at what she does, regardless of whether I agree with her policies or not. It's true.
Sure.
Cornel West is one of the best speakers in the world. He spoke at the Libertarian Party National Convention. He is a Marxist. He spoke at the Libertarian Party National Convention and got a standing ovation.
Wow.
That is how good he is. I was on stage with him and Maj Touré at Freedom Fest talking about freedom. He got a standing ovation. So the man is good at what he does, right? Again, regardless of whether you like his policies or not, the man is good at what he does.
Sure.
So he gets a standing O. They wanted him to run for president and her to support. That's the dream ticket for the Green Party. Oh my
Mhm.
God, that's the dream ticket for the Green Party. They couldn't make it work. They couldn't because of personality issues, ideological issues,
Sure.
all those things. And if you're a Democrat Republican, it's about power. And that would have worked a Democrat Republican. Oh, that's the power ticket? Done. When it comes to Greens, Libertarians, Constitutional Party, there's an ideology here. If Libertarians wanted to win, we'd be Democrats or Republicans. We wouldn't be Libertarians. If Greens wanted to just win, they'd be Democrats or Republicans. They're Greens. They know we're going to lose.
Yeah.
Ideology matters. And if you don't match the ideology, if you don't match the principles, you're going to struggle. And
Mm,
Cornel West didn't know that. His team did not tell him that, and it did not work. So Jill Stein had to step in because she's a trooper, she's a true believer, and she wasn't let the Green Party fail. So she
Wow.
stepped in. She didn't run in 2020. Howie Hawkins did. Howie Hawkins is a friend of mine. He's here from New York. He's a Marine like I am. Howie
Sure.
Hawkins and our friends. He works up in Syracuse. He ran in 2020. She didn't want to run then. Jill Stein's an activist. That's who she is. She's good at it. She's an organizer. That's her skill set. And she's
Mm.
damn good at it. And she knows she's damn good at it. She's like, why do I gotta be running? I don't be running. But she's a true believer and trooper, so she ran. Now, some people get mad at me for that, but I believe that's true. I think most people who know the system will go, yeah, Larry's right. That's why she struggles. She didn't want to do this, but she's a true
Wow.
believer and a trooper, so she ran. So yes, that's why she's doing it. I know some people will
Wow.
be mad at me, but I think it's true. So yes, I hope I answered your question again.
No, absolutely. I think you're right. And
And I think
I
if you
think
see her doing stuff, you'll see that checks.
sure. Yeah, that makes sense to me. And I'd love to wrap up soon, but I'd love to wrap up with this one question. Or actually,
Sure.
maybe this is a two-part question. But it's,
Okay.
are you proud generally of the direction that a lot of people are experiencing just from average Joes in America, right? The general direction of America for the average Joe. Like, are you kind of proud of that direction?
Hard question
And do you think
because there.
that's informing
Go
kind of
ahead.
you wanting to be part of the solution?
There is a small chunk of America
Mhm.
that is going in the right direction. So for that part, I'm insanely proud.
Okay.
People who are looking for other things, alternatives, watching multiple things,
Mm,
understanding that, don't trust the authorities immediately, check first. There's a chunk of Americans who are doing that. And those people, those are the 3% that I hope will begin to make the move and make the world change. So those people I'm proud of, and I think they are our hope, and they're the ones who keep me going.
sure.
The average American is embarrassing themselves constantly, just constantly embarrassing themselves. And the worst part is not knowing they are.
Sure.
Thinking they're the smartest person on the planet, thinking they got everything and they're just completely destroying themselves with their lifestyles, choices they're making, people they're believing in, stuff they're doing, constantly destroying themselves. So I think the average American is actually getting worse. And I think you can see it demonstrably anyway. The average American is
Yeah.
literally our IQ has gone down. That's not a thing I'm making up. That's true. Literally our IQ has
Mhm.
gone down. So even our IQ has gone down. And that's not obviously that's not the only measure, but our money has gone down. But the value that we have in our dollar has gone down.
Mhm.
The amount of people who are underemployed has gone up. The amount of people who are unhappy has gone up. The amount of people who are on psychotropic drugs has gone up. The amount of addicts we have has gone up. Alcoholism, particularly in women, has gone up. Less of us are getting married. More of us are getting divorced. More children
Mm,
are born out of wedlock. I mean, more children are raised by single moms. I mean, just every way you want to measure, the average American's getting worse. Whatever is your level of measuring, our education system is a goddamn joke. You go to college, it is a literal waste of time and money.
sure.
That's terrible. Our education system is garbage. People get out of high school can't read. Our literacy rate gone. Our education has been gone. I mean, I don't mean to sound like Trump, but our country is in trouble, and we focus on the
100%.
dumbest shit. That
Mhm.
means nothing. We focus on that means nothing. New York State's focusing, I'm not joking, on whether black kids can swim. I'm not making that up. Our governor literally made that
Wow.
part of her number one priority this year, whether black kids can swim. How about if they can goddamn eat? How about that? If they
Sure.
could read, I would go with that first. Not that swimming's not bad. I hope black kids can swim. I do. But I'd like them to read and eat first before I'm concerned about whether or not they can swim. And if they can read and eat, they can probably figure out how to swim. I'm just saying. I don't need the government to tell them how to do that. Let them eat. Let them read. They'll figure out how to swim. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Let that happen. So for most Americans, everything's going bad, and most Americans don't even care, aren't paying attention, don't give a damn at all, still blame people, take no responsibility, and point the finger at the other, whoever the other is. It's
Yeah.
always the other. It's always the other. It's always that's the reason, if only. Most Americans now are in the at least mindset, which is at least it's not this, at least it's not that,
Yeah.
at least it's not this. That's most Americans. And the rich keep getting richer and the poor keep getting poorer, and the middle class is dying everywhere you look, and people don't seem to care. They just get mad at others. They don't do anything about it. But there is that 3%
Yeah.
that I see that I'm very proud of, and I'm very hopeful that they can move, because once that 3%, you know this from early adopters, right? The early adopters, once eventually, right? At first, nobody had an iPhone. Then all of a sudden, everybody had an iPhone,
Yep.
right? The early adopters did this. So the early adopters can keep moving. And I think RFK Jr. is an early adopter in this case. People get on board, follow their lead, make this happen, then the rest will follow.
100%. You know, that actually just reminded me of a quote that I recently heard on a podcast. And let me see if I could find it. It was, yes, here it is. This was by Ern McManus. He's actually the guy who wrote all these books right here. Um, he's
Okay.
a he's an author, he's a pastor, he's a futurist, he's incredible. And he says the pioneers, inventors, the outliers, they may be 2% of the world, but they create 100% of our future.
100%. He's right. He is
Wow.
absolutely correct. Yes, he's correct. And that's what I mean. That's the answer. That's what I'm proud of. But you said average American. So
Yes, I
that's why to
did.
change. That's why to change my mindset. The
Yeah.
2%, the 3% that we have is great. They are
Mhm.
still good and they're on their way, but the rest have to begin to follow.
Sure. Do you think it's a problem whenever it's like there are those 2, 3, 4% of people, right, who kind of elevate the quality of conversation that people are having, but the 97%, the 96%, those are all still also voting for the future that we're creating. Do you think that's ever a problem?
It's a problem now.
Sure.
Yes, it's a
Is
problem
that a
now.
problem that to be fixed?
Yes, of course. Of course. Right. The incentives matter. Hope
Mhm.
matters, right? And the example I'll give you is people always say this to me, Larry, when's it going to get so bad that people finally change? I say never. That's not what makes people change. Things can be horrible. There's actually a term, it's called learned helplessness. When
Hmm.
people become so broken, they fall into learned helplessness. They are now helpless. They just accept what happens. They hope for a good king. Well, hopefully things get better one day. They become helpless. They do nothing,
Sure, sure,
right?
sure.
That's common. What changes people? Two things: things are bad and hope. Hope is the key. And I'll give you several examples. Recently, Obama, hope and change.
Yeah.
I would argue even Trump, MAGA was hope, hope to make great America great again. So that was left leaning hope and right leaning hope. And we got rebels. Well, we thought Obama was rebel. He really wasn't, but we thought he was rebel. So we thought people were rebels to get them in. That's how you make the change happen, is you have hope. I'll do something crazy from years ago, many years ago. Russia. Russia was under the Tsarist rule for 300 years. Horrible. Serfdom, basically slavery, not exactly slavery, but very close to slavery. And they were horrible, and there was no real revolt. There were revolts here or there, but no real revolution. All of a sudden, here comes Lenin. Lenin shows up and says, I got this cool thing called communism. And they said, what? They said, yeah, we can kill all the rich people. And they went, oh, that sounds amazing. Kill the rich people? Yeah, great. Can we eat? Well, we can kill all the rich people. Yeah, but we want to eat. Yeah, we'll talk about that later. Let's kill the rich people first. And they went, that sounds hopeful. And they all became communists. Why? Because of hope. Now, obviously, it didn't work out well for them, but they didn't know any
Sure.
better. They saw hope and they went with it. And they did kill the rich people. So that they got one part of that equation they got. The food part they didn't get. But they did get the kill rich people part. So they got part of it and they moved on. There has to be hope. And
Sure.
this is again why you see the mainstream media crushing Bobby Kennedy to destroy the hope. If you destroy the hope, people don't change. There has to be hope. But if you call them a nut or crazy or kook
Mhm.
or whatever, you're destroying the hope. They know what they're doing. They want to stay in charge. The purpose of the system is not to fix anything. The
Sure.
purpose of the system is to stay in power. Self-sustainability is the purpose of the system, and it will stay forever.
Wow.
If you have you ever liked the original Star Trek? Have you ever seen it from the '60s?
I'm not a big Star Trek person. No.
But do you know of it? Like you know what it is?
Yes, I do.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
One of the episodes in the '60s, with Kirk and Spock and the whole Star Trek crew. They go to a parallel universe
Okay.
where in the parallel universe, the Federation is the Empire. So it's like the evil parallel universe, right?
Sure, sure, sure.
In the evil parallel universe, there's still a logical Mr. Spock, but he's just evil. So Kirk goes, then the good Kirk goes to the evil Spock and goes, you can't like the Empire. Like, it can't work, right? He's like, it fails. And Spock goes, the assumed lifespan of the Empire is 247 years or something like that, right? And he goes, but it can't work. He goes, Terra must be maintained or the Empire will fall. Logical. He just says it. Terra must be maintained or the Empire will fall. This is 60 years ago this show came out. I would argue now,
Sure.
Terra must be maintained or the Empire will fall.
Wow.
This is why we must be afraid of Trump or afraid of Harris, because Terra must be maintained, or afraid of China, or afraid of Iran, or afraid of Russia, because Terra must be maintained or the Empire will fall.
And the only
Spock was right
solution
back
is
then.
hope.
Evil Spock was right the whole time. See that? Yes.
And the only solution is hope. Truly.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Do you think in
Yes.
2024, do you think hope is enough to compete with all of the other rhetoric of fear and terror? Do you think hope is enough?
Just to give you an example, it took Nelson Mandela 27 years. It took Gandhi 25.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It took MLK getting shot.
Great example.
Yeah. So, yes, in every country, yes. But they were trying to get hope years ago. Hope just began here for anything other than the left-right paradigm. The only real hope right now is really Bobby Kennedy Jr. was started like last year. So, can we do it? Yeah. But tomorrow? Probably not. Right? What I said a long time ago when I was running for governor, people said, Larry, what are you going to change the world? I said, no. I do not believe I will change the world. I don't. I don't think I'm going to save the world. Do I think I can set it up to be saved? Yes, I do.
That's good.
I do not think I can save the world, but I do believe I can set it up. I can be one of the people who sets it up to be saved. And I'll go back to MLK. Martin Luther King Jr. wasn't the first civil rights leader in America. There were many of them. But what did he have? He had television. The others didn't. He had TV.
Wow.
He had TV.
Yeah.
But the other people set him up, right, for that. There were movements in the 40s. There were movements after World War II when all the black veterans came back. There were massive moves for civil rights. That's where it began. 40s and 50s, right? They first began to integrate in the 50s, remember?
Yeah.
The black soldiers came back from World War II, said, I'm as American as you are. I fought the same war you. I got shot by the Germans and the Japanese just like you. I get to have the same rights you got. I sat in the same foxholes you did. I drove the same tank you did. I deserve rights. A lot of America said, nah, no, you don't. And it took years before finally now it's 65 and MLK gets what he wants. From 45 to 65, that's 20 years.
Wow.
So, yes, not tomorrow.
Wow. That's so good. Man. I always think that like this guy who I bring up, Ernick Manis, he says, I don't write these books to sell millions of copies, but I write these books because I believe that some of these books will actually get into the hands of the right people. And that those people will create the future. Right. And I just
say it
think
all the
that's
time.
yeah. Yeah,
I'm
it's
with
so
you.
beautiful.
Well, I think that's the reality of it is the reality of it is most people are not going to know who I am or what I did. But there'll be one guy who'll be like, I learned this from Larry Sharpe. I'm like, yes,
exactly. And they'll benefit from you. Right. It's the person who goes through the ceiling or the wall who always gets bloody. Right. And maybe they're not there to walk afterwards, but the next person, because that hole is in the wall, they were able to actually walk a bit. They're able to run
That
a
was
bit.
my saying in 2018. I literally, and I now use it for Bobby. The saying I said is, I'm a Marine. I will fight in the front line. I will break a hole. I will breach a hole, but you got to run through it.
There we
I
go.
will break a hole and you got to run through it. And in 2019, they did. I told you I had 107 victories. I broke a hole in 2018, and 107 people ran through that hole. And then the New York State government said, close that hole up, kill all those guys. That's what happened. But someone saw a hole being broken. Now someone else can do it. Bobby Kennedy Jr. can break this hole, and other people can run through it.
Wow. Well, I believe this is a really beautiful ending to this. And the message generally is just hope. And I love that.
Yes.
Larry, thank you so much. Thank you for coming on. It was a gift to have you here. And I just appreciate your time so much.
Happy to have you, brother. Happy to have you.
Thank you. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching and listening. I appreciate your time so much, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to support what we're building here, please like and subscribe. It means a lot and it really helps us out. And if you want to see even more content from me, make sure to follow me on Instagram. I'm going to be sharing a lot more on there. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.